Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Am I coming through? Am I coming through? Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Check, check. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check. Spencer Tracy with Philip Paul on the call. Check, check.
Check, check. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check. Spencer Tracy with Philip Paul on the call. Check, check.
All right. Well, it's a big night in the baseball universe as across the country the MLB All-Stars are getting going in Philly. But we have some CCL baseball on tap for you tonight as it will be a battle of the CCL North Division. Two rivals about to go head-to-head here at Baylands Park in Palo Alto. Is the visiting Walnut Creek Crawdads, the current first-place team, make that the second-place team in the CCL North, getting ready to take on the Menlo Park Legends, who are trying to extend their win streak to 4 games in a row. And hello, everybody. Happy to be back with you. It's Philip Hall back on the call alongside with my partner, Spencer Tracy. And, Spencer, you were solo dolo on Sunday in the Legends win against the Philippines baseball group. Just recap what went down for the Legends to get that win.
Yeah, it was a really fun game to cover, Philip. It was an exciting one. Obviously, on paper, you had a Legends team that was on a 3-game win streak, and they were playing a massive underdog, a team that was actually capture a win approaching July. But the Philippines came out strong. They put up 2 runs early in the first inning, but the Legends kind of cracked away at it, scoring 1 in the second and then another on a wild pitch, scoring Isaac Fendel in the 3rd inning, and then kind of took over the game. It was all Kai Manick from that point on up until the 8th inning. Ran out of some gas, and all of a sudden, within the blink of an eye, the Philippines had 2 triples in the 8th inning, not only coming back down 3, but scoring 4 runs to take the lead, only to give it right back up. And then it was all Dane LeBlanc, who had a little Brian Wilson, little Giants 2012-2010 era torture, leaving the tying and go-ahead run on base to secure the win.
The Legends continue to be scrappy and trying to stay hot against a team they have not yet beat this summer in the Crawdads. As we're about to get ready for first pitch, we'll run through the lineup as Tyler Toribio will deliver home to the Crawdads leadoff hitter and Daniel Palasic, who's playing left field tonight. First pitch in at 6:02 p.m. here in Palo Alto on a hot evening, 82 degrees. Lucas Carlisle will hit second, playing third base. Dylan Perez batting third in center field. Kevin Parker Jr. is in the cleanup spot at shortstop. Cam Taylor in right field hits 5th. Elijah Ramos, the second baseman, will bat 6th. Sutter Moss, the DH tonight in the 7-hole. Brett Ronson at first base, batting 8th, and Andrew Longacre at catcher will round out the order in the 9-hole. The 2-1 count here on Palasic as Tyler Toribio, who's making his first start on the season on the mound for the Legends tonight. He'll drop in strike 2. Count goes even at 2-2. Yeah, Toribio has already pitched in 2 games so far this summer. Two fouled off by Palasic. Palasic from Martinez, California. He's a UC Irvine product.
And Phil, we talked a little about the weather before we came on air here. You can see in the background the trees swaying a little bit out towards left field tonight. But it's a hot one. We're north of 80 here with a 6 p.m. first pitch. This ball might be flying today.
As a leadoff walk to open up the ball game, so Palasic will take his base. Whereas Palasic does have some time at the JUCO level with Los Medanos, as that's where he played this year, transferring from UC Irvine, where he had 330, had 7 doubles and a home run, along with hitting 385. I'll bring up Lucas Carlisle, another JC product out of Santa Barbara City College. Rubio's first pitch to him. This is high and in. Whereas for the Crawdads, they're led by their head coach and Brent Cummings, who earlier this summer got his 150th career win as head coach of the Crawdads. Runner takes off. The throw down to second. It's a high one, and it's going to be late. Palasic in with the stolen base.
Yeah, not wasting any time. He was kind of giving it away a little bit, leaning, but no surprise if you're Nick Sanzari and this Legends team. This is a Crawdads team that likes to run just as much as the Legends. That's been their plan of attack, finishing top 3 in stolen bases in the CCL this season.
versus Walnut Creek. They come into tonight at 19-8. Currently second place in the CCL North Division. As, they were able to take down the Merchants 5-2. Two 2-0 on Carlisle. Oh, hits it right back up the middle. Almost took Toribio's head off. Goes into center field. Rounding and coming to the plate. Scholastic, the throw is cut off. Lucas Carlisle gets the Crawdads on the board with a hard hit RBI single.
Yeah, those runs hurt extra more as a pitcher if it's a free pass, but especially those tough at-bats, too. You had Pulasic, a 7-pitch at-bat to start this game, earn his way on, steal early in the count, and then just the first hit of the game, and you're already feeling it. But this team has been punched in the face before. It's all about the answer.
That opens up the door for Dylan Perez. Runner takes off. Jackson with another throw down the second, and it's going to go into center field. Kelly not able to get there, as that will advance Carlisle to third.
It looked like Kelly got there a bit late. I'm not sure if it was communication between him and Fendel of who was going to take the bag, but Jackson did the right thing. He just threw it at the bag. It's the infielder's job to be there at the right time.
Rubio's 1-0, misses high, goes to 2-0. Dylan Perez has been in a bit of a cold streak over his last 5, hitting 176 at the plate in his last 5 games. It's Rubio trying to look for a strike here to the Baylor Bear. It's Perez. Going to be a rising sophomore out of Bourne, Texas. Here's count now for Perez.
So there you go. You win your first battle. You get back in the strike zone. But now you got to lock in and do that 2 more times here to get Perez. Strikeout situation.
Well, it's bounced over to second. Fendel will play back and will get the out at first, but it does allow for Carlisle to score to make it 2-0 Crawdads in the first.
Great at-bat by Perez, being patient in the count, getting into a hitter's count, 3-1. Typically you want to do damage, but it's early in this game. Don't take runs for granted. This is a team. Last time you played at Baylands Park, you only were able to scratch across three runs. It did result in a 3-1 win, but although they are 3-0 against the Legends this season, their offense has been quiet.
As Kevin Parker Jr. steps in, we'll give you the defensive alignment for the Legends. Left to right in the outfield, Paul Wagner, and left, Mason Griffin to center field, and Joey D'Amelio in right. Infield goes to Ryder Kelly at short, Carlos Cruzmar at third, Isaac Fendel second base, Casey Levitt McGee playing first, and Ethan Jackson behind the dish at catcher. Toribio just trying to find a rhythm here. He'll drop in, strike 2. Count goes to 1-2 strikes on Kevin Parker Jr.
Yeah, and the rhythm is not always super easy to find, right? You have warm-ups, you have the bullpen, but a lot of notable starters really struggle with getting into that rhythm. You've got guys that are notorious for struggling the first inning, like Logan Webb, a Giant that always struggles in the first inning, but once he finds his rhythm, that's where you can really dominate. So,
that one just clips Parker Jr. as he'll make his way to first on the hit by pitch. That's the third Crawdad to reach base to open up the game, as Ethan Jackson comes out to talk to his hurler. And even our home plate umpire got a bad piece of that pitch as well. He's going to get checked on.
Yeah, you put gear in the right spots, right, where you're most likely to get hit. But when you get a ricochet off a bat, a catcher's mask, or even the hitter, it can find some vulnerable spots. You just got to hope he's okay. It's a tough position back there. You know, you're not even squatting. You're like, it's like a half squat, like almost like a wall squat the whole night. It's hot. You got gear on. It's a tough position. It takes a warrior to be behind the plate.
Our umpiring crew for the evening, they were walking out with water bottles and hydro flask and everything. As you know, you said it, Spencer, it's a hot one tonight, so hydration is a must. You can see a Crawdads player coming out to give our home plate umpire a cup of water. Your umpires, they chose to wear the light blue tops instead of the dark.
I like the powdered blue look.
Yeah,
I like the powdered blue look.
No, it's a common theme.
Yeah,
like in the major leagues, like on those hot Sunday or like midweek Wednesday afternoon games where the umpiring crew wears the baby blue.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it looks like he just kind of needed a minute.
Yeah, he's back up on his feet. Seems to be okay.
He's got a battle scar for tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a fun story.
I was one out here in the top of the first with the Crawdads already up 2-0. Cam Taylor will come to the plate. Cam Taylor is a bit of a light load this summer, only 10 games played. Now he's one of the returners for the Crawdads. Remember seeing some of him last year. Out of Lithonia, Georgia, where he's currently playing now at Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College, an NAIA school. And Tyler Toribio still continuing to struggle here. You know, his workload so far this summer hasn't been very extensive. Already 17 pitches thrown this inning. Another throw down to second. It's offline. That's the third stolen base in this inning for Walnut Creek.
You know, I think if Ethan Jackson followed through over the plate more on that throw, he could have gotten obstruction from Taylor. Taylor's swing was a little off balance. It kind of took him out of the batter's box, which he has the right to be in, over the plate, which would have been obstruction. But it looked like it was kind of a – Jackson kind of tried to throw it around Taylor, which then totally negates the opportunity of getting an obstruction call.
Big lead at second. Swing and a miss on the 3-1. Count now full for Taylor. Another ground ball hit the second. Findell charges it and an off-balance throw. Able to get Taylor. There's two away. Parker advances to third on the ground out.
I think the big positive here for Toribio right now is 3 balls put in play. One almost took off his head. The other 2 have just been rollovers to Findell. So you're winning on balls in play. Just a matter of consistently hitting that zone.
Findell is going to get a third one hit to him, and he'll get the 3 outs to close out the top half of the first. But that doesn't come without Walnut Creek putting 2 up on the board, as they had 3 stolen bases in that inning and were able to score 2 on 1 hit. So we'll go to the bottom half with the Legends getting their ups on the night, their first ups, as they look to get those 2 runs back, as you're tuned in to the Menlo Park Legends live stream network.
it sucks. Like, it's just baseball at the end of the day.
And we're back here in Palo Alto, 2-0. The Crawdads lead as the Legends will come up to the plate for the first time tonight. Mason Griffin leading off in center field. Ryder Kelly bats second at short. Ryan Duran, a designated hitter, hitting third. Carlos Cruz Mar will hit cleanup at third base. Joey DeMelio in right field, batting fifth. Casey Levitt McGee at first base, hitting sixth. Paul Wagner is in left field. He hits seventh. Isaac Findell, who had the 3 putouts in the top half of the first, will hit eighth at second base. And Ethan Jackson rounds out the order at catcher, hitting ninth. That's going to be Weston Thornberry on the mound for the Crawdads. First pitch, fly ball to left, and it's going to be a can of corn for Pulaski. Now Weston Thornberry, 6'2", 190, righty from Carlsbad, California, the Fresno State product. Yeah, with the Crawdads pitching has definitely kept them in the hunt, and a run to try to go far in the CCL. You know, they look like a surefire playoff team right now, Spencer.
Yeah, this is kind of growing to be an expectation for this club year in and year out. Obviously very competitive last year, and then this year kind of right in the same exact ship, hoping to improve upon how they ended last season. But absolutely, they are a talent recruiter. As we talked about when we got to the field, Philip, we were talking about the MLB draft and a list of Crawdads drafted this year, including a notable one taken 4th overall who played for the Crawdads in I think it was 2023. Jackson Flora.
Ryder Kelly gets it through the hole into left, so he'll get on with the base hit. That's red bottoms, as I like to call Ryder Kelly. He's been on a bit of a hot streak at the plate here, Spencer. You know, just kind of run through some of the stats here on Kelly. As, you know, he just grabbed the team lead in stolen bases recently, now at 15 on the season, but he's hitting .313 over his last 4 games with a home run, a double, 3 walks, and a .991 OPS.
Yeah, I got to show up the pop with the long ball, first one of the year.
He's not slowing down. You can see the dirt climb up as he tried to go for that stolen base, but it was a foul ball by Ryan Duran.
Yeah, I mean, the nickname Red Bottoms is appropriate for a guy with 15 bags, and he's immediately trying to steal. You know, a lot of times base runners trying to get a feel for a pickoff mood, pitch timing. Ryder Kelly, he wants to just get on second base and then start thinking about third base.
Yeah, he's the kind of player that could stretch singles into doubles. And I think with his bat starting to come around here as we get into the latter half of the CCL season, it's starting to show. There's the 1-1. And that's across for strike 2 to Duran, who's also been having a nice go of it as following the All-Star break, the CCL All-Star break, he's been getting on base at a 500 clip and hitting .368, going 7 for 19 as of late. High and in for ball 2.
Yeah, one obstacle this Legends team has really had to overcome this week is since returning from the All-Star break, they've been hit with a lot of games. They have been it's been challenged for them to get back into it. 6 straight road games since the All-Star break, and how about that? It's exhausting. It takes a toll on these guys. All 6 of those games on the road too, Philip, and it's wear and tear. And so obviously on Sunday, a lot of guys got some extra rest. The day off yesterday, so they're back at it today.
Hit and run is on. It's bounced over to second, but Kelly able to beat Ramos to the bag, but they do get the out at first.
You just want to get the out there, kind of handcuffed Ramos. He couldn't come and get that. He needed to create that long hop to make it a more easier field. And with the speed of Kelly and the high chopper, it was no shot right behind the bag. He wasn't going to defeat Kelly to the bag, so just got to get an out there.
The defensive alignment for Walnut Creek goes like this. Daniel Pulaski in left, Dylan Perez in center field, Cam Taylor in right, Kevin Parker Jr. at short, Lucas Carlisle at third base, Elijah Ramos at second, Barrett Ronson playing first, and Andrew Longacre is at catcher. You will see Carlos Cruz Mar That one's hit the second on, diving to the right is Ramos in. He'll make the play to retire the side. How about that? Able to grab a smoker off the bat of Cruz Mar to end the inning.
An inning for the second baseman, Philip.
That's right. Yeah, 2 of those putouts going by way of Elijah Ramos, like how the 3 went the way for Isaac Findell. As we close out the first frame, as it's still a 2-0 lead for the Crawdads. As due up when we come back will be Sutter Moss, Barrett Ronson, and Andrew Longacre. Here we are in the second inning, still 2-0 Crawdads here at Baylands Park in Palo Alto. And Spencer, we were talking a little bit about the draft and, just picking out the notables that went in this year's draft. We get a lot of Crawdads on this list, especially for the Bay Area crowd, with Jackson Flora going 4th overall to the Giants, who pitched for Brant Cummings in the CCL.
Yeah, he's an exciting arm, an electric arm, and I think my favorite thing about Flora is his competitive nature. I mean, his coach was talking on KMBR, talking about Flora and how for team bonding they were playing, it was spike ball, and he was getting in arguments about the coaches about points and rules and all that because he was just so hungry to win. And, I mean, that's just kind of hard to teach. That's just kind of who a person is sometimes. So, very exciting.
There's Sutter Moss sending a shot back to center field as he'll lead off the top of the second with a single. But yeah, but the list goes a little bit further in.
Absolutely.
We looked at who went 15th overall. It's Ryder Helflick out of Arkansas who went to the Diamondbacks. Catcher. A solid backstop for the future down in Arizona. Then you also had Carson Jasa out of Nebraska, another pitcher who went in the 3rd round to the Cubs. Some organizations that definitely have a good history in developing solid talent, especially when they build through the draft. So, the Crawdads, they're doing something right with their program.
Yeah, absolutely, and it speaks to the success that we've been talking about over the recent years. But their player development and their recruiting over the last handful of seasons has really been impressive, and this is just a taste of it.
Here's Barrett Ronson at the plate. Count up 1-1 on him. Tyler Torrebio still trying to get things right here. Yeah, but definitely some brownie points and a feather in the cap of Brant Cummings when he had 2 of his former players go in the 1st round in the draft, and even got to win the early rounds as well. But the CCL was represented well as far as this year's draft class. Another notable from the draft that took place on Saturday in Philadelphia is throw down to second, and Ethan Jackson able to nab a runner this time as he'll gun down Sutter Moss.
Beautiful throw, beautiful exchange, too, from Jackson. A pretty decent jump, too, from Moss. But the accuracy and the arm power from Jackson beats Moss in the bag.
One out here, base is empty for Ronson. Count out 3-1. Going back to the draft list, another notable few other notables. You had Ace Reese from Mississippi State, who played for the Orange County Riptide back in 2024. He went 24th overall to the Seattle Mariners. Then you also had Paul Contreras out of Cal State Fullerton, who went in the 4th round to the Yankees, who played outfield for the Sonoma Stompers in 2024. Count now full for Ronson. Toribio misses that one way outside, as that will be ball 4. Isn't it? Oh. Yeah, so it's the second base on balls allowed for Toribio in this outing.
He's been a little bit more comfortable, though, I would say, over these last couple of hitters. He's not missing as much as he was earlier in this game.
Jackson, no, throw down to second. And the Crawdads just being way too greedy as Jackson nabs another base runner. That's Ronson.
Not even a challenge there. I mean, he looked out the second Jackson got a clean exchange. It was just playing catch at that point. Just went on the wrong pitch.
Well, you can see the awareness is now spiked up for the Legends backstop. Now, after the Crawdads had 3 stolen bases in the first inning, Ethan Jackson able to catch 2 runners. Well, he's definitely been doing Tyler Toribio some favors and trying to slow down the run game for the Crawdads.
A pitcher's best friend is some good defense, and Ethan Jackson has provided that in the squat.
2-1 to Andrew Longacre, misses outside. Longacre hasn't played too many games with the Crawdads. This is only his 8th game played on the summer. He's going to wear that one, runs inside.
So 3 hitters, 3 base runners, and yet Andrew Longacre is alone on the base paths, and they have Ethan Jackson to thank for that. Been a weird inning.
Yeah, well, I think the Crawdads might want to think twice, trying to go for another stolen base here. It's back to the top of the order for Daniel Pulasic.
Yeah, Longacre about a step and a half, maybe 2 steps off of first base right now. Just no interest in trying to take an extra 90 feet.
It's the 1-0. Swung on and fouled.
And that can really relax a pitcher who's having trouble with control, too. If he's got to worry about throwing strikes, and on top of that, his opponent's just running wild on the bases, having that security of, hey, if a guy takes off, I've got more confidence than ever in my catcher to throw him out. You can really kind of shift your focus mainly to the hitter.
Yeah, and I think that's something that goes undervalued at times when we think about a battery relationship. You know, not only do you want to have trust in your catcher and trying to, call the game for what it is, but you also want to make sure that they can slow down the run game of the opposing team whenever they start to get greedy. That one's going to fall in the left center field for a hit. Griffin hurries it back in, overshoots the cutoff man in Kelly, as that's going to put Longacre in the scoring position off of the single from Pulasic. Lucas Carlisle now will come up to hit as he singled his last time up and came around to score. Also had an RBI, which gave the Crawdads their first run of the game in the first inning.
I feel like they've kind of been robbed of some extra base runners, and they feel like they should at least have 1 or 2 runs in this inning as well. But as we mentioned, due to Ethan Jackson, They have 2 outs, 2 on, but still an opportunity to do some damage this inning.
Toribio misses with that one high with the fastball. 2-0. There's a wide gap up the middle between shortstop and second base. Kelly and Findell, playing far back.
Yeah, either giving up second base for a steal or...
It's rolled over to third. And Cruz Mar will make the throw across the diamond for the third out. Ethan Jackson able to gun down 2 base runners in that inning as the Crawdads not able to get anything going. 2 men left on off of 2 hits. No runs scored in the top of the second. We'll go to the bottom of the second with the middle of the order coming up from Menlo Park. D'Amelio, Levitt, McGee, and Wagner due up when we come back. Bottom of the second here in Palo Alto on the Menlo Park Legends live stream network. Glad you could join us. Philip Hall on the call alongside with Spencer Tracy. It's going to be Joey D'Amelio to lead off. And, there are some games happening across the California Collegiate League tonight on this Tuesday night where the All-Star game in Philadelphia for the major leagues is also taking place. We'll run through the out-of-town scoreboard for you in just a sec. D'Amelio fouls off the first pitch he sees from Thornbury. As give you some reports across the league. Right now, the Conejo Oaks are up 7-4 in Orange County Riptide in the bottom of the 7th down in Ventura. So have the Arroyo Seco Saints leading 2-0 on the Academy Barons. That game in the top of the 4th in Pasadena. And the Santa Barbara Foresters up 2-0 against the San Luis Obispo Blues. Game in the top of the 2nd down in Slow at Sinzheimer Stadium. And just up the road from us in San Bruno, the Seagulls and the Stompers facing off with the Stompers up 1-0. That game also in the bottom of the 2nd. So they start about the same time as we did. And if you're not able to keep up with both the Legends and the MLB All-Star game, we'll give you the live game report for the All-Star game as the American League currently lead the National League 3 zip in the bottom of the 4th at Citizens Bank Park out in Philly. Don't turn that dial, but there is, dare I say, a no-hitter alert happening in the All-Star game as we speak.
Through 3 innings before you jump out of your couch. But, yeah, Philip is right. The NL yet to record their first hit.
D'Amelio able to record a leadoff walk, and with that walk, they actually broke a streak for D'Amelio there, Spencer, as coming into tonight, Joey D'Amelio had a hit in 6 consecutive plate appearances, producing a perfect 6 for 6 over his last 2 games.
Yeah, 4 for 4 last night. He was absolutely electric. when the Philippines took the lead with the 4-run 8th inning, and the Legends, it was the home half of the 8th inning due up. D'Amelio was the leadoff guy. They were chasing a run, and he led off with a shot that hit off the bottom of that 375 sign in left center field. And the Legends were able to hold on because of that. He was a big part of the win last night.
Swing and a miss by Casey Levitt McGee. He's also a guy that's been showing some late summer power here. Of course, we've been seeing him get a little bit more playing time. Sometimes he'll come off the charger when Nick Sanzeri flips the lineup. Gonna flare that one down the left field line. Running out, trying to dive for it was Lucas Carlisle. Can't make the grab, but still gets an applause from the crowd for the effort.
Sensational effort. I thought for a second that had a chance to fall fair, but quickly it just became whether or not Carlisle was going to catch it in foul territory or not.
He ran quite a ways, too, to get it in a little bit of a tumble following the dive as well. He's back up and back to his post. Still 0-2 on Levitt McGee. And that one gets away to the backstop, as that will allow D'Amelio to move to second on the wild pitch.
It's something to note for Levitt McGee and then Wagner and Fendel, who are due up as well this inning, is D'Amelio saw a couple just out-of-control fastballs that looked like it was Thornberry losing his footing or not getting a grip on the ball, but he's had that a couple times this inning. You got to think maybe he's losing some control.
Now, Thornberry's pitch count isn't as high as Tyler Toribio's is after going the first inning.
And it's been an aggressive mindset at the plate for the Legends, as per usual.
Levitt McGee with an extensive at-bat, fouls off the 2-2.
He's gotten McGee jammed twice on two fastballs inside of the plate, kind of attacking those hands at that belt level. Interesting to see if he pairs that with an off-speed or tries to beat him one more time.
Thornberry's 2-2. And he misses low and in. Now the count goes full. Levitt McGee lays off on the payoff, as that's the second straight walk for the Legends.
It's a really good at-bat by Levitt McGee.
We're going to get time here as the Crawdads are going to have a mound visit. So a little bit of an abnormal start to the bottom of the second for Weston Thornberry. Only allowed one hit in that first inning. But this is a bit of a crucial spot, especially now with the Legends having the tying run reach base.
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of where we've seen this team take the strides in the right direction after the first 2 weeks of the season. And since then, they've been pretty sharp, and it's with runners in scoring position, whether it's no outs like right now or even with 2 outs, they have been able to find ways to get runners to score, whether it's on the base paths, creating chaos and almost a distraction, or through hits, finding gaps, short swings, putting the ball in play, team at-bats, tough at-bats like Casey Levitt McGee. And it's kind of the reason why they've been able to scratch away at some wins this season.
That's right. It's also mentioned, too, I left this out as we were talking about the CCL draft picks from this year, but Jackson Flora being a UC Santa Barbara guy, one thing to note, David Klein, our team owner and CEO, he's a UC Santa Barbara alum, and as well as also a huge Giants fan. So I'm sure he's over the moon about the 4th overall pick for the hurler that pitched for the Crawdads, so some CCL ties, of course. Paul Wagner is up now, 1-0 to begin the at-bat. He's going to show bunt. Pulls back, misses high for ball 2.
Saw this a lot on Sunday night, too. Sinzeri calling that sack bunt sign early in the game as well. We're just in the home half of the second here.
Wagner trying to put it down, pulled it back, but is in for a strike.
It's a really good spot, and this is a really good location by Thornberry, going outside, making the first baseman, forcing him to bunt to the first base side, so the third baseman can still stay on the bag and maybe nag D'Amelio at third.
He hits it down the first base side, and Bronson will make the throw to get the out, so the sacrifice able to work to move D'Amelio and Levitt McGee 90 feet.
Job well done. Job well done.
Isaac Findell will come up to hit now. He's been a vacuum cleaner on defense so far in this game. Doesn't waste time as he puts it through in the right field, and the ball stops on a dime just in front of the outfield grass. It's enough for D'Amelio to score. A bit of an interesting RBI single goes for Isaac Findell, but it does put the Legends up on the board. Now a 2-1 game.
What was I telling you, Phil? With guys in scoring position, they just put wood on the ball. It's not always barrel, but they just make contact and just hope the ball has eyes. And this one, it does. It finds a hole on the right side of the field for a little RBI single. Findell, 3 stolen bases last night. Probably looking to get in scoring position here.
Then Jackson fouls off the first pitch. Not only did it find a hole, Spencer, but I think it found some real estate out there in that grass, which isn't cut that low.
It's kind of sat.
Yeah, it stopped, and Cam Taylor, as he's trying to run in, got caught by surprise. Fortunately, it wasn't enough for Levitt McGee to come around to try to score. Swing and a miss, but the throw down to second is late. But Levitt McGee will come across the score on the stolen base to now make it a tie ball game.
Yeah, I think Elijah Ramos ended up picking that ball in shallow right field, but going over to Findell's steal, excellent jump. I mean, he was just a problem on the base paths on Sunday. 3 stolen bases, as I mentioned, and there he just sneaks in.
Now Jackson's going to wear that one like a fashion model. That one hits right off of like the elbow guard, right in the ribs.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go there. That was hitting him regardless. And now the Legends not only tying this ball game with the sack bunt, setting it up, but a chance to take the lead.
And for Isaac Findell on that single, that was a 6 RBI on the summer. Back to the top of the order now with Mason Griffin, still 1 out, but runners at first and second for Menlo Park. First pitch to Griffin misses high. He flew out to left field in the first inning. And Griffin trying to look for RBI number 8, as it would also be the go-ahead for the Legends. Thornberry fires in the fastball for strike 1. Mason Griffin, 8 for 24 since coming back from the All-Star break. The high pop-up on the third base side as Carlisle is going to run out of room. That one will go out of play.
That's the beauty of the leadoff position and how it's kind of changed over time. You know, typically it was your D. Gordons, your speedy, left-handed, switch hitting, just contact, put the ball in play. Ben Revere's, Jimmy Rollins, but now it's become these, Kyle Schwarbers, these big hitting guys that are kind of just a threat on the base paths with power, and that's what Griffin provides in the leadoff spot.
The layoff there on the high pitch from Thornberry. It's like we got a little fan of Mason Griffin out in the bleachers right in front of us.
Join the club.
Comes to 2-2. Runs in just below the knees. That was a full count as Thornberry having some command issues here in the second inning.
Yeah, again, he started this inning with some pretty wild pitches. One actually did get by Longacre.
And coming into tonight, Thornberry carrying a 1.72 ERA. Swung on and hit out the shallow left center field, and it's going to be Pulaski to call off everybody for the second out. That was the second time tonight that Mason Griffin has flown out to left.
Another jam shot. He's just not getting a feel for the heater coming from the opposite side of the plate, going in on the hands. It's kind of jamming him up there, and he just loses all of his power once he gets closer to that handle of the bat.
We'll see what Ryder Kelly can do here as he singled in the first inning himself. Goes after the first pitch, but got jammed. Sends it foul.
One of two Legends hits tonight. Phillip, Ryder Kelly, just staying hot.
Yeah, he hit a home run the other day as well. You know, his bat speed, you know, he gets around the one, Spencer. I mean, that ball's going to fly.
He's electric.
Fouls off another, now at 0-2.
And you just see the competitiveness at the plate, right? Two pitches. He's not waiting around. He's not looking. He's not looking for, an off speed. He's not waiting for a hanger. He's just looking to attack, and it really tailors well to that violent swing that he has.
He's going to look at strike three. Thornberry able to get out of the jam and stop the bleeding. But the Legends able to tie up the game at 2 apiece off of one hit. As we're going to go to the third frame for a whole new ball game. 2-2 as we go to the third here at Baylands Park. The Legends able to get 2 runs in the bottom half of the second to make it now a 2-2 game. Dylan Perez will lead off for the Crawdads. Spencer, I know I've been gone for a bit, but do you miss this day in baseball history, Nuggets?
I did. I tried to bring it up on Sunday, but it was just too fast-paced of a game. It was tough to get the whole story out. But, yes, I absolutely did miss your story nuggets.
I'm glad you said that, because I got one here.
Hit me.
As Adam Morris will come into the game for Tyler Toribio on the mound for the Legends. So a little bit of a lefty-on-lefty matchup to begin the top half of the third. He's going to miss outside there. Count goes to 2-0. Well, with it being the All-Star game tonight, I'm keeping it All-Star themed. So on this day in baseball history, back in 1970, Pete Rose collides with Ray Fosse in the 1970 All-Star game. Morris not able to make the play. He tried to scoop it up with his glove. So we'll put that one down. A little bit of a questionable decision as how we're going to score that one in the book. But yeah, it's going to go down as an E1.
I think you got to lean error there. I think Morris had a couple chances to make the play, and I don't know. I don't feel comfortable rewarding a hit to a little dribbler back to the pitcher.
Yeah, it was a playable play for Morris to make. So deliver ball one to Kevin Parker Jr. But back in this day in 1970, in the 1970 All-Star Game, which did take place in Cincinnati at Riverfront Stadium, the Reds' own Pete Rose barrels into catcher Ray Fosse at home plate in the 12th inning to score the winning run in a 5-4 National League victory. The one downfall of this for Ray Fosse was Fosse's shoulder injured his shoulder in that collision, altered the course of his career, and the play became one of the defining and most controversial moments in All-Star Game history. There's a line drive hit to left center field, and that one's going to go into the gap and go all the way to the wall. Griffin is going to have to hurry this one in, and they're going to hold up Perez at third. He gets the stop sign. Kevin Parker Jr. parks it at second for the double.
That ball just took off the bat.
It was definitely a hit hard for sure. It's going to be Cam Taylor up to hit now. But I do recall seeing clips of that Pete Rose Ray Fosse collision in the 1970 All-Star Game just through what MLB Network likes to show sometimes. There was a time where that was a legal thing to do in baseball. Of course, it's not legal to do that anymore. But you just think, Spencer, this is the All-Star Game.
Yeah, that's really the highlighted section of that story right there. Is this all happened in the All-Star Game? The same game that all sorts of sports around the world are having trouble with competition. And yeah, here's a story about one guy running over purposefully colliding with another player, whereas the NBA is having trouble getting their superstars to even care about playing defense. It's wild. It's absolutely wild.
Yeah, of course, we always know that there is a risk factor when it comes to play as Taylor looks at ball two. But the baseball All-Star Game is, it's supposed to be kind of like a showcase game in a way where you hope that nobody gets hurt. And even, if you're currently tuning in to the tonight's All-Star Game, we saw Junior Caminero go down on a hit by pitch that forced him to leave.
And that sucks because that's just obviously no one's trying to hit anyone. No one's trying to send a message. You had a Cardinals arm, a reliever on the mound against a superstar on the Rays, different leagues, and it's just a two-seamer just kind of runs away from Riley and gets away from him.
That's a fair ball hit down the right field line by Taylor. This should clear the bases for the Crawdads, and it will. The throw back into the infield will be way off as Cam Taylor able to drive in two for Walnut Creek as they regain the lead 4-2 here in the third.
This is kind of going to be the vibe I'm getting from tonight for the Legends and how they're going to have to take down the Crawdads here. They're just going to have to go punch for punch with them. Whatever they throw, they're going to have to respond in some way. They did it in the first half of this game, scoring 2 last inning. But here, kind of starting off on the wrong foot, and then tip your hat to some good hitting, some good at-bats from the Crawdads. And you're just going to have to do the same thing, which this team has done. This team has come from behind. It's still early in this ball game.
Still no out recorded for Adam Morris. Elijah Ramos is now up to hit. Give you the final line of Tyler Toribio. He goes 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs allowed, 3 walks. So it just really wasn't his day out there on the mound. There he might have to go deep into the bullpen tonight. That pitch gets away from Jackson, allowing Taylor to move to third.
Well, good news is, despite the 6 consecutive road games and a 7th being on this last Sunday, they only threw Kai Manick and Dane LeBlanc in that game. A day off yesterday, so all these arms have had at least 2 days of rest. So they've got the ammo to go pitcher heavy.
Breaking ball misses away by Morse. That was lined in the center field. Griffin's going to let that one fall. Taylor broke late from third, but he'll come in standing up. Elijah Ramos dumps in an RBI single to now make it 5-2 Walnut Creek.
I didn't have the read there. I feel like Griffin may have had an opportunity to snag that. Tough from my angle, just given how Griffin hit on the brakes and how long it took for that ball to fall. The risk for Griffin there is if you do lay out and you miss it, there's no help behind you, and you're at risk of Elijah Ramos scoring on his own. Kind of the dilemma you have to make as a defender and as an outfielder especially within a second, like at most.
Adam Morris yet to record an out as they'll see Sutter Moss. Lined at first, caught by Levin McGee, and he'll step on the bag for the unassisted double play. What a play by Casey Levitt McGee. And if there was any out that Adam Morris needed, he gets 2 in a very cool way.
Yeah, sometimes you got to get lucky. Everyone's got to get a little lucky sometimes, and Adam Morris needed it. Maybe this is a good refresh. Exhale a little bit. Nobody on, 2 outs. Just fine. Get your guys in the dugout.
Oh, 2 outs here in an instant as the bases are empty for Barrett Ronson. Line drive hit back in the center field. Ronson trying to keep the inning going.
Barrels are alive tonight for the Crawdads. I mean, that is another hard hit ball up the middle, and they've had a few that have found gaps as well. They've been just all over it tonight. They are locked in at the plate.
Morris makes a move over to first. Longacre, who was hit by a pitch his last time up. Look at strike 1. We have 8 hits on the scoreboard, but 7 on the live stats for the Crawdads.
Might be that error potentially that we ruled.
Yeah, I think the jury's still out on that result.
I stand firm at error. I do.
Longacre trying to find one he likes. Oh, yeah, it is an error in the book for sure.
Adam Morris's slider, maybe that would classify as a curveball, has been sharp tonight. I've really liked his curveball movement.
Oh, it's back with the 1-2. Goes another one. Oh, and it's hit hard to short. It eats up Kelly. He can't find it.
I'll give Longacre a hit there. That's a really tough play for Kelly. That's just pure. Are you going to be a miracle man with your hands, or are you just going to completely airmail on it? I mean, it's hit so hard where you can't create your own hop, but it's hit right at you, so you just purely have to react. And it's a tough hop. It's in between hops, so it's really tough to gauge where that ball's going to come up off the ground. Nothing really Kelly can do there.
It's back to the top for Walnut Creek. Daniel Pulaski looks at strike one. And, Ryder Kelly, usually we see him at second base. Shortstop maybe a little bit of a different feel for him, even though it is only 10 feet from the opposite middle infield. Good stop in the dirt by Jackson. Runners stay put.
Yeah, if he gets the same ball, there's a different approach, right? If you're at second, maybe he gets down to a knee and just tries to take it off the chest, right? Because you're at second base. You can pick that up, keep it in front of you, barehand it, and make a quick throw to first. You have time. At shortstop, it's kind of pick it or keep it in front and just give up the hit, really, because it's just it's a longer throw. It's a more challenging throw. So it's the difference of the two positions.
Now, Pulaski has reached base twice tonight. First time came on a walk, second time came on a single. Morris relying heavily on his breaking stuff, but hasn't been able to hit the zone much. As a hitter's count for Pulaski. 3-1 gets away. It was ball 4. It's not going to matter as the runners will advance regardless, but now the bases are juiced for Walnut Creek.
There's a big at-bat here. This is at-bat number 9. Your fielders have been standing out there for a long time. Jackson's been in the squat for a while. It's been a long inning. But this is an at-bat where if he can't execute, if Morris can't execute, this game could get really out of hand, really ugly, real quick.
Yeah, there have been holes poked in the boat in this inning for Menlo Park. Lucas Carlisle up. He looks at ball 1. It's Carlisle's 3rd consecutive at bat in 3 innings. It's 1 for 2 on the night with an RBI. Swung on and miss. Morris going with the hard stuff there. One in for strike 2.
Real good back-to-back pitch sequence there from Morris. Whose fastball follows up with the changeup. Let's see what he does here. 1-2.
Went away away there, but too far away. Count is even at 2-2 here. Otter Creek has put up 3 runs in this inning to regain the lead. 2-2. It hard to second. Oh, and it bounces off of Findell, and it's going to roll in the shallow right as the Crawdads are going to put up 2 more on another hard hit ball that the Legends infield not able to grasp. Now a 7-2 lead for the Crawdads. That one's going to go in the book as an E4. Isaac Findell, who was making some sure-hand plays in the first inning, now gets booked with the error there.
It's going to leave a bruise. That was scorched. Ball was absolutely pieced by Carlisle. Clearly with an opposite field approach there, hitting it that hard to right field. But yeah, Fendell kind of trying to run with his shoes tied there. Just nowhere really to go. Best you can do is try and keep it in front.
That one gets behind Jackson. Pulaskic's going to try for the plate. The toss home will not be in time as Pulaskic will score on the pass ball to now make it 8-2. And in the process, Carlisle moves to second. That was a 1-0 count for Dylan Perez. It just hasn't been that kind of an inning that Adam Morris was hoping for, nor has Nixon Zeri hoped for.
Yeah, haven't been able to make the play, make the out to get themselves in the dugout. And then meanwhile, the Crawdads have just been electric in the batter's box. I had a travel ball coach who his big coaching philosophy, his big line was fight for your third, referring to the third out of the inning.
Perez will wear that one in the back. It's a hit by pitch.
But yeah, you get so comfortable with 2 outs, whether it's the first 2 outs or, it's a tough inning and you kind of run into a double play like Morris did, right? You kind of take a deep breath, but then immediately, 4 or 5 straight base runners, 2 of them via the hit. Like, that third out is really the flagpole at the top of the mountain that you need to grab. Just because you got the view, you still need to finish the inning. So the third out, it's the hardest one to get.
Adam Morris won't see that third out as Sanzeri comes out to give him the hook. The Crawdads have batted through the order in this inning as the new arm coming in from Menlo Park, Cam Taylor, will be due to hit. We'll be back with the update on a new arm in just a moment. Well, the Crawdads have put up 6 runs on 5 hits here in the top of the third to make it an 8-2 game. And coming in for Adam Morris is going to be Colby Bonin, rising sophomore, going to school at Skidmore College at D3. It's actually not Cam Taylor due up here. It's actually Kevin Parker Jr. So they'll come up with 2 outs. The Crawdads have batted through the order in this inning.
And some.
Cam Taylor does wait on deck. He was the one that delivered the 2 RBI double. Parker Jr. looks at strike 1.
Lauren, let's do it too. Let's let this inning go. Let's let this inning stretch go by. We'll do it at the end of
Yeah, Elijah,
at the end of the 4th.
I beg your pardon. Carlisle at second. This one on fouled. And Carlisle at second, Dylan Perez at first.
Crawdads seem to just be in a beat me mode where they're just gonna sit heater, and if they can read the spin, they'll just sit on an off speed and then drive it the other way, exactly like that.
Fly ball to right center. Can of corn for Mason Griffin, as that will be the top of the third, but it comes with a lot of interest from the Crawdads, as again they put up 6 runs on 5 hits in that inning, and they did not let up at all, as the Legends are going to have some work to do. Still a lot of baseball left to go as we go to the bottom of the third here in Palo Alto on the Menlo Park Legends live stream network. Crawdads put up a big 6 in the top of the third to now make it an 8-2 ball game here in Palo Alto. Ryan Duran will lead off for the Legends. See if he can try to spark up a big rally to get his team back in this ball game. Still Weston Thornberry out on the rubber.
You got to attack this game like a problem, Phillip. Right? You can't just look at all that's gone wrong. You really have to look at, all right, let's solve it. Let's make one problem solve at a time, and by the end, you've solved your problem. And what that means here is really it's a one-on-one game. Not it's only about yourself, but it's you and the pitcher right now. You have to win this next pitch, win this pitch, and then towards the end of the game, if you win enough pitches, you may have a fighting chance come a key moment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Spencer. And it's just all about trying to chip away. And it's only the bottom of the third. Still have a lot of at-bats to get things right here. You also have to remember, too, Thornberry, he's been kind of on the rough side when it's come to the pitching tonight as well. So the Crawdads, even with the hefty lead that they've given him, he still has to execute.
Absolutely. I mean, that's his third walk plus a hit by pitch in the last 2 innings. So there is some concern with that control. And if you're the Crawdads, that's the last thing you want to do. You want to make a team down 6 runs who's been sitting out playing defense for 30 minutes earn their way back in this game. And free passes is not the way to go about it.
Yeah, and remember, there is a downside when a team does have a big inning like how Walnut Creek did in the top half. Their starter, is on the bench for a while. Just make sure that he's trying to keep the arm loose.
Absolutely. We talked about rhythm, right, early in this game. Innings like that can kind of get you out of your rhythm. Now I know some pitchers will kind of take it easy when they go back on the mound in between innings to get warm, but after an inning like that, you may see them pitch more live at-bat intensities just to kind of get back into that rhythm. With the walks being a trouble night for Thornberry, he's gotten out of it. He's only allowed the 1 run when he got into some hot water. So credit him for escaping the jam.
Carlos Cruz-Mar lines the 1-1 to short and is going to double up Duran at first. Not sure what happened there as Duran just left the bag and didn't get a good read of that one off the bat. And just like that, there's 2 gone. Just when you thought you had a chance to build some momentum, that's a play like that, kind of a momentum killer for Menlo Park.
Killer.
Joey D'Amelio trying to regain it. He'll send a single to right. So even though D'Amelio, his plate appearance hit streak ended after he was walked his last time up, he's still swinging a hot bat up there, getting a single on the night.
Yeah, when you're hot, you're hot. Ground balls like that will find a hole for you. And that's exactly what Joey D'Amelio has done. And he's done it to all fields, which is just twice as impressive. Just has a feel for the strike zone in the barrel right now.
Here's Casey Levitt-McGee. He'll look at strike 1, and he even had that unassisted double play at 1 inning back on defense over at first. Rolled that one, high bounce. That's going to get past Ramos, the second baseman. Another single in the right field. So the 5 and the 6 hitters for the Legends trying to keep the 2-out rally, or at least the 2-out hit train going here.
Yeah, it's you put the ball in play, right? This is what I was talking about with just winning at-bat by at-bat. Even if Paul Wagner goes yard here, you're still chasing 3. Which is a lot more manageable than 6, but it's just winning the at-bat, and hopefully by the 6th or 7th inning, you've gotten this into just a couple-run game.
Wagner lays off the high ball upstairs. That was a high slider out the hands of Weston Thornberry. Now has his pitch count in the high 40s here. And that one is, diving stop at second, and making the play is Ramos. Wow. Just when we thought that the ball had some eyes for center field, Ramos says, sorry, sir, you can't park there. What a way to end the bottom of the 3rd as the Crawdads keep the Legends off the scoreboard in that inning. We'll go to the 4th. Still an 8-0 lead for Walnut Creek in Palo Alto. Here we are in the fourth frame, still an 8-0 lead for the Crawdads. Cam Taylor will lead off. He fouls off the first pitch. He sees from Bonin, who gets another inning of work. But at that last inning, Spencer, just a few blunders on the base pass for the Legends.
Hasn't been the A game tonight, and I think the players would admit that themselves. Some base running mistakes, some defensive mistakes, just kind of handing over some opportunities for the Crawdads, who are already an elite team that can not only take advantage of those kind of mistakes, but really escalate them, and it can put a scoreboard like this at 8-2 quickly, just the beginning of the fourth inning.
Cam Taylor's having himself a night, 1 for 2. A couple of RBIs to his tally. He hit that 2 RBI double in the top of the third when Crawdads had that 6-run inning. If you're just tuning in, he's going to work himself with the leadoff free pass to open the top of the fourth. Elijah Ramos, who made a nice web gem up the middle in that last inning, Spencer, to close out the bottom of the third. He'll come up to hit here for the third time tonight.
Nothing easy about that play. Backhander up the middle. Flash the leather. Elijah Ramos.
I had a chance to watch Elijah Ramos play a lot this year. He's up at over at Cal State East Bay. Swung on and fouled. Yeah, but Elijah Ramos, he had some, quick couple, have a coffee at the D1 level. Transferred from Cal State Fullerton to go to Cal State East Bay, but this year with the Pioneers, he hit .342, had 6 doubles, and drove in 14. It was definitely a sure hand out the middle for Coach Cummins over in Hayward. Ground ball to third. They get one a second. Findell on the first. Double play at the 5-4-3 double dipper, and there's 2 gone.
A little round the horn action. All started by Carlos Guzmar, a pretty little backhand. Flip it over to Fendell, comes right over second base, fires it over to McGee. Textbook play.
Legends trying to look for some kind of momentum, and even if it does come on defense, that's very helpful for Bonin, who may have to eat up some innings here. This isn't necessarily a mop-up kind of deal, especially with how early it still is in the game.
Yeah, not yet.
But you do still want to make sure that whoever is out on the mound can have some confidence in the defense. Swung on and miss there by Southern Moss. Count up 1 ball and 1 strike for him.
Yeah, and sometimes when you see a teammate, lay out for a ball like that when you're down big, it can kind of strike some urgency into yourself. Like, hey, I got to wake up. I'm kind of falling asleep a little bit here. Sometimes it takes a mistake also to kind of set off the alarm in your head to re-enter the game mentally. And long innings like that last third inning for the Legends can really take you out of the game mentally. So you just got to lock in. You got to find a way to get yourself active into the game.
And Bonin's going to get Moss swinging for strike 3. You get a double play and a strikeout in the top of the fourth, as it's only the second time the Crawdads have been kept scoreless through the frames. So we'll go to the bottom of the fourth. The Legends back to the plate with Findell, Jackson, and Griffin due up in the bottom half. Legends back up in the bottom of the fourth. About a hour and a half of game time in here tonight at Palo Alto on a hot evening. There's a few games that have gone into the later innings across the CCL. The Caneo Oaks getting the 7-4 win over the Orange County Riptide, and it's a crucial victory for them, especially knowing what the standings look like in the South Division of the CCO. Isaac Fendel leading off. Will look at ball one. It's the Riptide currently trying to chase down the first place Santa Barbara Foresters. The loss tonight going to put them at a rough spot in that race. Based on the win percentage, however, that does put the Caneo Oaks in second place.
It's top three make the playoffs, correct?
Yep, that's right. Of course, that third place team will play in a wild card matchup against the second place team, while the first place team, the division winner, will get the first round bye. Count even at 2-2 for Fendel. Right now, as the CCL North stands, the San Luis Obispo Blues with a firm lead at 25-10 coming into tonight, while the Crawdads are the second place team at 19-8. Then you also have the Stompers, the third place team, or currently the hottest team right now in the CCL, winning 8 straight at 18-13.
I've had a couple really long win streaks in that North Division. Crawdads had one that exceeded double digits at one point this season.
On Nick's the outside corner as Thornbury gives Fendel the backwards K.
That was just unfair right there. Talk about a spot from Thornbury.
Now, the good news for the Foresters is that they are ahead in their game against the Blues, 5-4, 5-4 in the top of the fifth, and that game down is slow. And then the Stompers are up against the Seagulls right now in the top of the fifth, game 4-2 in San Bruno. Ethan Jackson will come up here. He'll look at ball one. One now for Jackson.
There's a key responsibility to being that 9-hitter. It's not Little League. 9-hitter's not the worst hitter on the team anymore. It's the table setter, the double leadoff.
Yeah, that is what Jackson is trying to look to do here. Thornbury's pounding the zone right here. For anybody that's trying to multitask and watching us here on the Menlo Park Legends live stream and the All-Star game. Right now the American League keeping a one-hitter through 7 innings on the National League, 3-0 in Philly. If you had any Kalshi bets on if a no-hitter was going to happen in the All-Star game, well, blame it on Juan Soto, who was able to get the lone hit for the NL.
Blame it on Philip Hall, man.
What are we talking about? I'm not calling games. I did say that no hitter was happening in the first Out-Town scoreboard report. So
it's all right. I'm cool with blaming Juan Soto. He's a nice guy, I'm sure.
Depends on who you ask, but okay.
Right.
Well, Jackson fouls off the 3-2, and it got most of Andrew Longacre behind the plate.
Jackson checking in on Longacre. 2 catchers. They understand. They understand it's part of the job.
Longacre seems to be okay. He'll put the mask back on and get back in the squat. He's trying to win the duel here between Thornberry and Jackson. It's going to be Thornberry as he'll hand Ethan Jackson the backwards K. There's 2 strikeouts back to back for Thornberry. You can now give him three Ks in total on the night. Weston Thornberry's pitch count now at 60. We'll see Mason Griffin. An off-speed pitch, misses outside. Griffin was late on that one as he pops it foul. He's going to go out to play again. Count now 1-2 on Griffin.
Yeah, Thornberry just going right after these hitters. As I mentioned before, you got to make the Legends earn their way back into this game if they want to have a fighting chance towards the back end. Just see 2 fastballs, outer part of the plate. Maybe he switches things up with an off speed here, keep Griffin on his toes, or he goes with some challenge heat upstairs. Looking to K the side.
Can't do it there. That one bounces and goes to the backstop. Thornberry's first strikeout of the game came in the 2nd inning when he K'd Ryder Kelly, who's waiting on deck. He hopes to hit in this inning. Oh, thought he had it there. The umpires thinks otherwise. The count goes full. Get this too, Spencer. The 3 strikeouts accumulated by Thornberry have all been on looking strike threes.
He's got some nasty movement.
Griffin was on that, but it's a foul ball. Hit hard down the right field line.
I've seen Griffin fly out to shallow left field both at bats, getting jammed on the inside. So he's trying to get that bat hit out in front early. We'll see if you go inside again.
Griffin, a high fly ball out the center, but it's going to be caught by Perez to retire to side. It's the 3rd time that Griffin has flown out tonight to in the bottom of the 4th. Crawdads coming back to the plate, still holding the 8-2 lead. As it's going to be Ronson, Longacre, and Pulaski due up when we come back. Barrett Ronson, the rising college junior out of Corona, California, product of Santa Ana College, will lead off for the Crawdads as they continue to hold the 8-2 lead here now in the top of the fifth. Goes after the first pitch, fouls it off. Well, Spencer, I got one more this day in baseball nugget for you. You ready?
Yes, hit me.
All right, so keeping it all-star themed, as on this day, back in 1992, Ken Griffey Jr., the kid, wins the 1992 All-Star Game MVP in San Diego at Jack Murphy Stadium. And the backstory behind his performance: now, Ken Griffey Jr. became the first son of a former All-Star Game home run hitter to homer in the Midsummer Classic and earned the game's MVP honors, where he went 3 for 3 with a home run and doubled with 2 RBIs as the American League won 13-6. Granted, the final score a little bit different compared to how tonight's All-Star Game in Philadelphia has been going.
Yeah, an early 2 runs, and it's been pretty quiet offensively for the National League, who trail 3-0 right now. But how about that? 13-6. He's some superpower, some long balls, some extra base hits, some offense. It's gonna buy tickets.
Oh, Ronson gives that one a good drive to left field, but running it down out there is Paul Wagner to make the play for the first out.
Just kind of been the story of the night of this game is the Crawdads just jumping a 2-strike count and just good hitting by Ronson, covering the whole plate, being comfortable with going to all fields, pulling this one to left center field, giving it a good ride, but good play by Paul Wagner to track that down. That could have been an ugly start to this inning.
Strike one ends Andrew Longacre. Cool thing about Ken Griffey Jr., he actually played a role in the All-Star festivities with the HBCU Swingman Classic, an All-Star game that highlights the best HBCU players in the country.
This is an event you attended, isn't that right, Philip?
That's right. I was out in Philadelphia for the first early part of MLB All-Star Week, at the HBCU Swingman Classic, and also joined alongside a fellow CCL player at that. Longacre back up the middle, sliding stop by Findell, and he'll make the throw to first to get the out.
Oh, that was smooth. I mean, you talk about a fielder, and what separates a good fielder from a great one, and it's just being smooth, and that was just a clean backhand on the slide. A little too far to go head first, so kind of does like a base runner slide up the middle. Uses that momentum to get to his feet. Beautiful play by Fendel.
That's for sure. Continuing to be a stronghold over at second base tonight. Daniel Pulaski back to the top. But yeah, going back to the HBCU Swingman Classic, it was a great time to be there, be on the field. And even Armando Hurtado, who plays catcher for the San Francisco Seagulls, was one of the selected players among the 50 players that participated in the Classic. Or he's a product of Coppin State, a HBCU on the East Coast. But I was, funny enough, I was on the same flight with him out of San Francisco, on our way to Philly. But yeah, awesome kid, great to talk to him, and even got a base hit and scored a run in the game as well at catcher.
That's really cool. Really cool to see the CCL being represented both at the draft and the All-Star game.
That's right. Vlasic fouls off that pitch there. Yeah, there are some big names out in Philly this week. Ricky Weeks, HBCU alum, the only HBCU player to win the Golden Spikes Award, was one of the managers of one of the teams. And, of course, Philadelphia Phillies legend and Oakland, California native Jimmy Rollins also, was one of the managers in that game. Whereas Ricky Weeks managed the winning team. I was going to drop foul. Yeah, but I think Jimmy Rollins, felt kind of salty knowing that he lost what was, just an exhibition game, but in his park that, he made his name in. So
absolutely, yeah. Want to defend your turf. becomes a little personal, but it's all for the fun, right? It's all for the event, the purpose of the event.
Yeah, but overall, I highly recommend, if you ever get a chance to go to MLB All-Star Week, definitely check out the HBCU Swingman Classic. Great event, some exciting baseball, and even, HBCU guys sometimes to go under the radar, but they're a fun watch. I almost hit hard to short, brought by Kelly, as he'll get to throw to first late. Well, the inning will continue as Daniel Pulasic will reach for the 4th time tonight. It's going to be scored another error in the books for the Legends. That's their 3rd one on the game. Opens up the door for Lucas Carlisle. We'll take ball 1. And HBCU guys that was around, all had great stories. Some entering the portal. Also, it's also a historical weekend as well. 2-0 now in Carlisle. We had a chance to go to Philadelphia City Hall and checked out the Octavius Catto Memorial. And one thing about Octavius Catto, he helped establish the first professional baseball team in Philadelphia in the late 1800s.
Wow. This dude just runs deep.
Yeah, I would definitely, do your homework on Octavius Catto. Very compelling story when it comes to, his efforts in civil rights in Philadelphia, as well as also his efforts in starting the game of baseball as well in that part of the country. Backdoor throw to first, but it's late. Dave Sims and Harold Reynolds, as I'm sure if you watch live MLB Network, was on the call for that game, which was aired on MLB Network. Yeah, it was just, awesome people, rubbing shoulders with some big names in the sport. There's a stolen base there by Pulasic on the throw, which is a little wild, but, just rubbing elbows with Hall of Famers, World Series champs, MVPs, future Hall of Famers. I mean, just hands down, couldn't be more blessed to be out there.
Yeah, a lot of legends, a lot of baseball history, just surrounded by it all. I mean, a baseball fan, a fan of history, a fan of sports. Sounds like the event for you then.
Sure was. There's ball 4 on Carlisle. So the inning just continues to prolong as Colby Bonin, not able to really, get a groove and trying to retire these crawdad hitters.
Yeah, only allowed 3 base runners, 2 via the walk and 1 on the error. So he's been sharp. He's been sharp.
This is Bonin's 3rd inning of work after he relieved Adam Morris. Pitch misses inside to Dylan Perez. Yeah, the final line for Adam Morris only went 2 1/3, giving up 5 hits and 6 runs, 3 of them being earned. He faced 10 batters in his outing. Another pitch inside, tight strike zone by the home plate umpire.
Yeah, that second pitch, he might be right. That one might have squeaked a little bit too inside, but that first one, which is odd. Typically, you see kind of these lopsided games. Strike zone gets a little pitcher friendly.
Big swing and a miss there by Perez. Oh, Bonin able to work back in that time. Yeah, but tonight the Crawdads, 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position, and even when they in leadoff chances, they're 4 for 5. So they just find a way to set the tone early at the beginning of innings.
Yeah, cause panic, and then they run. They've been running really well. Jackson obviously had the inning in the second where he threw out 2 Crawdads, but. Yeah, just been being able to run, and they quickly just learned just how locked in all 9 guys have been at the plate. And it's just been really tough for the Legends to run into an out.
A hard hack there, back thrower, the first. Trying to keep a close eye on Carlisle, but the count does go full on Perez.
Elite awareness by Jackson there, understanding that Carlisle kind of fell asleep over there at first base, which you can as the backup runner, but McGee not on the same page over there.
Here's the payoff. Now it's popped up in the infield. Like it's going to be Findell as he'll grasp it for the third out. We have a lengthy inning, but the Crawdads don't make any noise as they're kept scoreless in the top of the fifth. We'll go to the bottom of the fifth. Still an 8-2 game. Legends trying to make some noise with the bats here in Palo Alto. You're tuned in to Menlo Park Legends Baseball on the Menlo Park Legends live stream network. Now in the bottom of the fifth, Ryder Kelly will step in to lead off. Kelly first pitch swinging, lifted to left. And it's going to be a can of corn for Pulaski. Weston Thornberry's night concludes as final line for him. He goes 4 innings, only allowing 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, and had 3 strikeouts, facing 19 hitters. And now in the game for him is Noah Zirkle. Noah Zirkle, a big fella out there. And a 6'4", 240 out of Oakland, product of Cal State East Bay. Swung on and missed on the high cheese there. So Ryan Duran. He had a 2.70 ERA in 6 appearances for the Pioneers. Another foul ball. Yeah, with Zirkle, who finds himself in a deep pitching staff for the Crawdads. You know, this season, however, he has he has an 8.53 ERA. This being his 7th appearance. Hasn't really seen much action. Only 6 1/3 innings of work coming into tonight.
Yeah, an opportunity here to start some momentum for himself just this summer. To, not just the game.
Oh, Duran took that one. Looked like it got him on the high shoulder there. The hit by pitch. It's the second time he's able to reach base.
A lot of bruises being made tonight. A lot of foul tips off catchers, umpires, hitters. A lot of hitters taking some fastballs up and in.
Carlos Cruz Maru's 0 for 2 on the game. He lined into a double play his last time. Line to the shortstop, Kevin Parker Jr. Runner takes off. Duran slides in head first, and they got him.
Yeah, I don't love the decision by Duran there. I mean, you're chasing 5, and just not the best jump. He's getting kind of active with his feet, trying to create a good jump off Zirkle, but just not good enough of a jump.
Count at 1-1. That one misses just a little high.
Good snapper from the 6'4" right-hander. Benefit of being a pitcher and being tall is you get that reach. You get closer to home plate. You can use gravity on your side. Kind of throw down more than flat. Usually bumps up the velocity numbers, which can get you in front of some pretty nice schools, some scouts, which we have seen here at the stands in past games.
Oh, and he blows Cruz Mar there with the fastball. That will end the inning. Oh, a runner caught stealing for the Legends, so still not able to break the ceiling as they even kept scoreless through the last 3. So now we go to the 6th. Still 8-2, Crawdads in front. Now in the 6th inning, and usually where Sanzeri likes to make the lineup flip, but only a few subs have been made. Leading off for the Crawdads is going to be Kevin Parker Jr. We'll look at ball 1. Yeah, Michael Aikawa will go to third base for Carlos Cruz-Mar, and then Ethan Mooser will go to right field for Joey DeMelio. That was fouled. Still Colby Bonin, still out on the rubber. Yeah, it's just been kind of a bit of a diffused game offensively for the Legends tonight.
Yeah, just not enough energy. They just didn't have the response that they've had in past games. They're still going to get 4 more cracks at it on their offensive side. And if they can just scratch across just 1 run in these next couple innings, it may warrant the closer to come out for the Crawdads.
Bonin's going to start off the inning striking out Kevin Parker Jr.
When people say that slider moves like a frisbee, that's exactly what they're talking about. That one just slid, ran away from Parker Jr.'s bat. Just an unfair pitch.
For the Crawdads, you think about their road record, 6-5 on the road this summer. So you would think that, with them coming back into Legends territory, that they would still, kind of be on the struggling side, but it's been a whole different kind of story tonight for them.
Yeah, and you're bound to kind of have these nights. I mentioned earlier in the game just the tough hand that the Legends were dealt. 6 straight games on the road after the All-Star break is really tough, and 3 of those were all in SF, but it's just really tough to play that many games back to back and on the road. It can take a toll on these players. It takes a toll on these arms, despite having a couple days off with the All-Star break. But it's just a real curveball that Cinzeri just has to deal with, and it tests the depth of these players.
Ground ball hit the first, and it's going to be a solid play over there for Casey Levitt McGee. There's 2 away.
Puts into perspective just how ridiculous and impressive record holders like Cal Ripken Jr. are. Consecutive game streak. Just the mental strength, the physical reliability, and the wear and tear that is constantly put on these players in a day-to-day builds up, but it's impressive.
I've talked about it before, Spencer, as Elijah, we're almost up to hit now. I talked about it before. These college guys, they're not used to playing an everyday schedule. Like how you get the 3 weekend games and the 1 midweek game during the college season. But even though like the summer season isn't that long, like this part of the summer season is considered to be like the dog days in comparison to how it would be in the major leagues. Absolutely,
yeah. The post All-Star break, when you're climbing into September call-ups, coming around the corner. That's kind of that's the equivalent to the area that we are at here in the CCL.
1-2, swung on and missed. 2 strikeouts in that inning for Colby Bonin. 3 up, 3 down goes Walnut Creek. So that will bring Menlo Park back up to the plate. See if they can try to make some noise with the bats with the middle of the order due up when we come back. Here in the bottom of the sixth, it's still an 8-2 score for the Crawdads in front. It's going to be Ethan Mooser, who came in on defense the last inning as he'll get his first at-bat of the night. He came in to play right field for Joey DeMelio. So the Canadian Moose going up against the big fella in Noah Zirkle, who's out for another inning of work. He's going to foul off the first pitch he sees. Swung on and missed. Strike two.
That's kind of what you have to do. You have to read the room when you're coming off the bench, right? You're chasing six. These guys are Zirkle's just going to be pumping strikes at you. So right out the gate, Mooser's swinging.
Sure, the Legends, it really only just takes one big hit for them to kind of revive that life in the dugout. It's been awfully quiet over the last three innings, like dating back to when they had put up those 2 runs in the second, when they thought that, this game could be a little bit different, because it was tied up after the second inning. But, the 6-run inning that Walnut Creek put up kind of did the Legends dugout in.
Yeah, it's been 3 straight shutouts for the pitching side for the Legends. Shutout innings, that is. So it's really just up to the offense to kind of claw their way back in. The pitching has done its part of keeping it a 6-run game.
Lister strikes out to start the inning. So here comes Casey Levitt McGee. Has a walk and a single on the night. They'll take the fastball high for ball 1. So tomorrow the Legends do have a game scheduled, as it's going to be a non-league game. So you're going to face an opponent from outside the California Collegiate League, as it will be the South Bay Storm coming to Baylands Park tomorrow. Game time at 6 p.m. We'll have coverage of that here on the Menlo Park Legends live stream network, so make sure to tune in. Please. Got to add the please at the end.
Never hurts, never hurts.
Strike 2 on Levitt McGee. So the Crawdads, after tonight, they will see the Stompers tomorrow back at home in Danville. There's the Crawdads trying to stay in that playoff conversation for California Collegiate League North Division. They've had some chances where, they've made it. They've gone the distance in the playoff rounds to the championship series, but haven't been able to, get the brass ring to try to become California Collegiate League champs.
Well, we've looked at the standings. There's a lot of talent in this league, a lot of individual talent too with these players. But a lot of team talent, right? We talked about the Crawdads always at the top, but the Blues taking over sole possession of first place right now in the North. But then in the South, you got 2 teams in 20 at 20 wins, and not too far behind them, the defending champs, the Oaks.
And speaking of the Oaks, as Levitt McGee able to work the 1-out walk, the Oaks, they faced off against the Crawdads in the 2024 California Collegiate League Championship Series, where they swept them in the best-of-3 series, winning 2 games. And then the Crawdads fell short of making it back after losing to the Stompers, who eventually made it to the championship series, but were also swept by the Oaks, who were able to go back-to-back. Wagner, a high fly ball down the left field line, foul territory, a long run for Daniel Balasic, but there was no more room for him to run.
That foul territory it's a love-hate relationship for this defense, man. Like, there's so much room where it leaves a lot of balls that should go out of play, but kind of hang out, stay in play for a little bit longer. On the downside, you got to chase that ball until it falls, because you don't know if it's going to stay in play or not.
Strike 2 in the Wagner. And even before the Oaks, it was the Healdsburg Prune Packers who three-peated as CCL champions. And, ever since, the Prune Packers actually moved over to the Pacific Empire League. And I got to give a shout-out to one of my broadcasting mentees, Hugo Traverso, who is the play-by-play man for the Prune Packers up in Healdsburg. So, shout out to my guy Hugo Traverso. Just graduated from high school this year. Cardinal Newman High up in Santa Rosa, and he's on his way to Syracuse to be in the Newhouse School of Communications, big-time broadcasting school out in Syracuse.
Yeah, they've got a really good program out there. I know of a couple graduates from that program that have gone on to have very successful careers.
So I'm going to miss by Wagner, strike 3. Oh, Noah Zirkle able to get a couple of Ks here in this inning. Isaac Findell will be up to hit here. Findell's 1 for 2 on the game with an RBI and a stolen base. Yeah, surprisingly, when I talk about the championship history of the CCL, a name that does that you're not surprisingly not hearing a lot of are the Santa Barbara Foresters, because before the CCL expanded to have multiple teams up and down California, it was the Foresters who really had the stronghold on the league itself.
I'm looking over at your screen right now, and it looks like they won from 93 to 2012.
Yeah, like they were CCL champions by default since the league wasn't as expanded as it is now back when those first created. Swing and a miss on the high heat. Count out 2-1 on Findell. Of course, for the Foresters, they have more bigger aspirations. They try to compete for the National Baseball Congress World Series, which is a collective of summer ball teams that play against each other. Kind of almost similar to, say, if you had a College World Series format, but consisted of collegiate summer ball teams.
That's a good way to put it.
Or go a little bit more critical, maybe the Little League World Series, kind of similar format in a way. Or one fouled off by Findell.
I guess what I'm taking away from that is the CCL is probably doing it the best it's ever done in terms of competition and on all the teams that they have in this tournament that they've built. Expanding with the North and the South Division. And on top of that, also having some affiliates. Like we mentioned, like the Merchants. We had the Philippines Baseball Group here just the other night. There's a couple other teams, and there's another team in San Diego. I'm blanking on there.
Yeah, the San Diego, the Bombers.
Bombers, that's right.
And the Waves, too.
And the Waves.
Yeah. This low, Findell gets the free pass.
Phenomenal at bat by Findell, too. Fouling off a couple really nasty breaking balls from Zirkle.
How about this? We just got a final from the All-Star game. So the American League shuts out the National League 4-0 in Philly. I get this. Dylan Cease was the winning pitcher to Christopher Sanchez, who gets the loss in his home park.
Wow, that's... it's frustrating because the big stories whenever the All-Star rosters get announced is, who's the snubs, who should have made it, who shouldn't have made it. And that's always a fun debate. But I think it's really disappointing that the Phillies' own Zach Wheeler didn't even get into the game. And he was invited when a couple pitchers couldn't make the roster due to injuries or they declined, and it almost kind of felt like a pity invite in a way, and he denied it and decided he was not going to be part of the All-Star. So it's a little frustrating because hometown, or not hometown, but
Like home
part of the
team,
home team, and they're hosting, and he's arguably good enough to even start the game, and wasn't originally voted in.
Well, you know what he said. You know, he felt disrespected for not
Understandable.
being the first choice.
Understandable.
The 1-2 to Ethan Jackson. Take that one in. But to Zach Wheeler's point, well, not exactly to his point, but, you know, sometimes guys don't get a chance at all in their careers to be in the All-Star game. So I feel like there has to be some kind of gratitude for a player like him, just knowing where his career has gone, to at least be grateful to get the nod.
This is
Strike
true.
3 called on Ethan Jackson. We'll complete the thought as we go into the next inning about that. Yeah, we see Jackson showing frustration there. It's been a frustrating night all around for the Legends as Noah Zirkle strikes out 3 Menlo Park hitters in the bottom of the 6th. So we'll go to the 7th, still 8-2 the score in Palo Alto. Now on the top of the 7th, Southern Moss will lead off for the Crawdads as they continue to hold the 8-2 lead as we are getting to the latter third of tonight's ball game. Crawdads trying to go for win number 20 on the season, snapping the Legends' 3-game win streak.
It looked like we switched home plate umpires here, Phil.
Yeah, I'm just noticing that myself too. It's like we had a three ump crew. Looks like we slimmed down to a 2-ump crew with a change behind the plate.
The home plate umpire did take a pretty nasty foul ball to the lower body pretty earlier in this game. Like first inning was pretty early. So maybe just kind of the wear and tear, and we are getting late into this one and no change of score. So it's not the worst thing in the world to lose an umpire in the field. You still got one. You can do a 2-man crew.
Yeah.
Very possible.
The Norman college ball. Missed outside, 3-1. Colby Bonin still eating up innings here in relief. But yeah, we were talking about the Zach Wheeler, a deal with him, almost turning down the invitation to the All-Star game, feeling disrespected, not being the first choice. Strike 2 in on Moss.
Right, you brought up the fact that he's been an All-Star before. He's a 3-time All-Star, and not all players get the opportunity to earn that honor. And by him sitting out opens the door for someone else.
Right. And whereas, a few weeks back when we were doing a game when I did my This Day in Baseball History Nugget talking about an all-star in Hideo Nomo. Was the first Japanese all-star. It was his only one of his whole career. Of course, Hideo Nomo was a solid pitcher in the majors, but just think about like most guys go their whole career without even going to an all-star game, let alone being in one.
Yeah, and it comes down to a couple factors, right? You obviously have to have a standout first half, right? I guess that's what it's about. It's not about the whole season. The first half, you got to be on a team that's relatively competitive, right? You're not going to get multiple guys on a losing team to make the All-Star game. You know, like I look at the Giants, right? For an example, the hometown team. Logan Webb, as long as he pitches all right, he's probably going to be the representative to make that team. And that is great, but if you're not a great team, you're not going to be able to send both a standout player like Luis Ariz and Logan Webb out there, which means Casey Schmidt is not going to get a nod, which is a name constantly thrown around as on that snubbed list.
That one's rocketed in the right field, but it will drop foul.
And so a lot of it is popularity. It's popularity, it's team success, and then it's also player success in the first half. And if you can't get all three of those, it's a little tough to get in.
Yeah, I mean it's tough to get in regardless. When we just think about how many players are across the league and how many guys, you have to, be better than to even make it in, or at least get those votes. The pop up the short, it's going to be caught there by Kelly, one away.
And I think players understand how difficult it is, obviously, right? Because they're doing it every day. They're showing up to the ballpark. They're putting in their work. They're putting in their pregame work and grinding at bats and grinding on the bump, whatever it is. So they understand how difficult it is. And even once you get there, you have a better sense of how challenging.
Oh, and not making the catch is Nate Bateman, who's the new catcher on defense for the Legends behind the plate. Had a good chance to try to make the catch, but just popped out of the glove. Of course, mentioning the defensive changes, Ethan Jackson moves from catcher to first base while Nate Bateman comes off the Charger to replace him behind the plate at catcher. And with that defensive change, Nate Bateman will hit in the spot of Casey Levitt McGee, who's done for the night, while Ethan Jackson will remain in the 9-hole.
Heyman's been a utility man this season for Cinzeri. Swiss Army knife. It's been
sure has.
Played in left field, started in left field just this past Sunday, coming in as a sub behind the dish. And we've even seen him be a defensive replacement at second base.
Bonin blows the fastball past Ronson for out number 2.
That's 6 straight retired for Bonin. Really locking in after allowing 2 base runners in the 5th. Again, the Crawdads offense has been silent since that 6-run inning.
On his line pass, Kelly in the left field with that high cut grass that rolls slowly in front of Wagner.
That is some thick grass out there, Phillip. That ball is just hitting brakes once it leaves the dirt.
That was Andrew Longacre with the first pitch single. I'll give him 2 hits on the night. So that does break the out streak for a Bonin. We're going to get a pinch hitter coming in the game now for the Crawdads, as going to be hitting in the spot of Daniel Pulasic. That's going to be Shane Aldridge now pinch hitting. Aldridge. He's been a solid player this summer for the Crawdads. He's from Hayward, goes to Menlo College. And he's going to hit that one hard in the shallow right center field. The ball just stops on a dime. Making his way to third is Longacre. I mean, I don't know. He might need to get a lawnmower out there to cut the edge of that outfield grass.
Yeah, you know, at some point, the captain of the infield has got to inform the rest of his infielders, hey, be aware when this ball, just because this ball gets by you, you might still have to go chase it down. Like, you can't just treat it like it's going to roll its way and find one of the outfielders wherever it's hit.
And Aldridge in 77 at bats, that being number 78. He's hitting 182, so consider him getting a single in a pinch hitting spot. Add a few points to that batting average. Lucas Carlisle. Take a look at that one for a strike. Carlisle's 1 for 3 with an RBI tonight.
He's reached base in all but one at bat. A ground out in the second. It's been a walk, reach on error, and a single and a run.
Oh, he gives that one a good ride to left field, but it will stay in the yard just in front of the warning track. Wagner will make the catch. Now, 2 hits with 2 runners left on for the Crawdads as they are kept scoreless once again in the top half of the 7th. They've gone 4 innings without scoring a run now, so we go to the bottom of the 7th, stretch time here in Palo Alto. We got a pitch and change on the mound for Walnut Creek as we're now in the bottom of the 7th. It'll be Carlos Hernandez coming on the pitch now. He might be going the rest of the way for the Crawdads as the big righty, 6'2", 215 from Livermore, product of Chabot College, JUCO arm. We'll see Mason Griffin, who will lead off. Strike one to Griffin, trying to break out of an 0-4. He has flown out 3 times in this game.
Yeah, try and do a self-evaluation. Get underneath the ball, try and get on top of the ball. Like Fruit Ninja.
Carlos Hernandez carries a 6.07 ERA, and this being his 10th appearance on the summer for Walnut Creek. Oh, I think he might have gotten it there, made that adjustment, as that ball is going to go. Mason Griffin, who has flown out 3 times tonight, sends the 4th fly ball over the fence for a home run. The Legends able to put up a run on the board, making it 8-3.
And that's the new kind of leadoff man, right? A guy that can really flash some pop. There he is showcasing it, getting his whole body into that one and yanking that. I mean, that was gone off contact. There was no doubt about that one leaving the park.
Griffin with his first home run on the summer. Man, I think he's just itching to send the ball far, especially with how his first 3 at-bats went. You know, you get 2 fly balls to left field, flyouts, and then you get a fly out to center field, but he goes the other way to right field from the left side, and that ball had the tailwind to get on out of here.
And he was getting beat inside, too, and this time he gets the bat head out in front, finds that barrel, that strong part of the bat. Just kind of lets his mechanics, his daily work kind of take over from there.
You say no on the swing on Ryder Kelly. That goes to 2-1. Mason Griffin, the Coloradoan, northern Colorado, and you know where he's from. You know, they're known for trying to elevate the baseball, especially with the elevation that they play at.
I mean, everyone is nowadays. Everyone's all about elevating the baseball.
Slow roller, just down the first base line, stays fair, and a good throw by Longacre to get the speedy Kelly.
If I'm a Legend right now, these first 2 at-bats are lighting an absolute fire inside of me. I mean, I get my leadoff guy who just hits an absolute no-doubt shot to right field and gets about every inch of the barrel of the sweet spot that you can possibly get. And then I get Ryder Kelly, you know, still down 5, still chasing 5. First pitch, trying to put down a surprise bunt, get someone on base, kind of starts some electricity, right? Because leadoff home run, you become the leadoff man if you're Ryder Kelly. And then hits a little dribble out in front of home plate, not making it easy at all on Longacre to make that throw. He made that play difficult, but an impressive play by Longacre. That's guys who just are not ready to call this game over yet.
You know, you put a small dent in the deficit, now only being down by 5, but you know, keep in mind, folks, if you're just tuning in, the Legends haven't scored a run since the 2nd inning, while the Crawdads haven't scored a run since the 3rd.
Yeah, they've outscored the Crawdads over the last 4 innings. 1-0.
Duran trying to get on it there, but sends it foul.
And this guy having a relatively quiet night at the plate has been a reason why this offense has kind of struggled. He's really been the heartbeat in the middle of the lineup.
Duran looks at that one outside, but I think too it's kind of been an abnormal game for Duran, especially on the base pass. You know, when he was on base, you know, there's a time where he got thrown out on the line drive on a double play. And you also think, too, he was caught stealing on a late jump. I'm going to say he went around on that swing there. There's 2 gone.
Yeah, you play so many games in this collegiate season. We talked about how we're kind of in the September, late August of like an MLB season right now. We're late into the season. These guys are starting to kind of wear out because they're fresh off their collegiate seasons as well. There's not too big of a gap between the last collegiate game and the CCL. Sometimes it's even just weeks. And, you play that many games back to back, you're bound to run into some tough games. And that's where you kind of learn a lot about adversity as a player and overcoming the daily grind as a baseball player.
We talked a lot about this past MLB draft coming and going, and how many CCL alum had their names called and are going to hope to sign pro contracts soon. But I mean, these guys have to remember, hey, like especially these guys who hope to get the Pro Bowl someday. This is what the life is going to be like. You're going to have those long days, those rough nights. Those games you want to not so much remember, but want to reflect on, use it as a learning experience of what you could have done to adjust. And I think summer ball is the proving grounds to become that kind of player.
Absolutely. You don't have to learn this in one summer with the Legends of the Crawdads, right? This is what signing yourself up for this extra ball is for. This is what your freshman year is for. A JUCO season, your sophomore, junior season, it goes on. So there's time to build up this stamina to get through these long seasons and still play at your highest level.
2-2 on Michael Aikawa. He came in on defense about a few innings ago for Carlos Cruz Maras. He's getting his first at bat. He's on a full count now with Hernandez. Aikawa will win the duel and get the free pass. There's fun line for Noah Zirkle. He went 2 innings, scoreless. Only allowed 2 walks, but had 4 strikeouts and the 8 batters that he faced. So that'll help him with a little bit of a drop in that high ERA that he carried in coming into tonight at 8.53, pitching those 2 scoreless innings. Now here comes Ethan Musa now. Back up for the second time. Struck out his last time. Another thing to note, too, Cody Bellinger won the MLB All-Star Game MVP tonight.
Yeah, pretty cool. Good for him. It was kind of a big topic in the offseason for MLB, whether or not the Yankees should bring him back on the roster or go searching for another big-name outfielder to pair with Judge. And they decided to keep him along with Trent Grisham. And it's been a good decision for them, as Bellinger obviously making the All-Star game and also winning the MVP. He's been a spectacular player, a very good player, who's kind of been forgotten about a little bit ever since his collapse after his early season breakout in L.A. Made a little trip to Chicago. And ever since then, he's kind of been viewed differently, I feel.
Yeah, I do remember that when he first came up with the Dodgers, and he's like the flavor of the month, and that part when like his first month in the majors.
Yeah, playing like an MVP. He was like an MVP guy.
Yeah, and of course he did still took home National League Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
That year too. Now, yeah, I do agree, Spencer. Like ever since like he left the Dodgers, he kind of he was still a solid player, on paper. Don't get me wrong,
Absolutely.
but I think a lot of people forgot about him and his rise to the top. And of course, we remember that 1 year when he was in the MVP race with Christian Yelich as well. That was like a dream year for him. Still with the Dodgers too, especially after coming off that sophomore slump year.
Yeah, he was an all-star in 2017, his rookie year, and then repeated again, led the league in wins above replacement, also known as WAR, with an 8.7 WAR in his age 23 season. Absolutely ridiculous. It was an MVP season for him as well, as long as a Gold Glove, a Silver Slugger.
Yeah,
And then it kind of fell off a bit for him, failing to hit above 240 until he made his exit from LA and started playing ball at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, of course. 2019. I remember when Christian Yelich went down with that injury the last month of the season, especially when the Brewers were, in the hunt for the playoffs. But Cody Bellinger able to play out that full season, and even though the Dodgers, didn't really make as much noise in 2019 as they did the following year, winning the title in 2020. You still got to give credit to where it's due. Cody Bellinger has been overall a solid player throughout his career. Definitely can see him still making the Hall for sure. But, hey, he can add All-Star MVP to his resume now. Or All-Star Game MVP, I should say.
Yeah, a nice little trophy to put on your trophy shelf.
Yeah. There's Nate Bateman at the plate. He's ahead 2-0. I remember the days when you won All-Star MVP. You also got a free car, too.
That's right. That's right.
Hit foul down the first base line. Yeah, I think I recall that Chevrolet was the one of the game sponsors, and the winner of if you won All-Star Game MVP, you got like the nice MVP bat trophy. Then you also got the car to go with it. It was either like a Corvette or a Silverado or a Tahoe.
Mm-hmm.
They need to bring that back.
They really do. Cody would like that.
Of course, the money that Cody Bellinger makes, he
Yeah,
can probably buy 30 Corvettes and
Not his
and
biggest problem.
30 Silverados.
Right.
But, it's a nice little perk.
Absolutely.
Bateman, count on him at 2-2. Stays in the fight, fouls off another close to the Legends dugout.
There's a situation here with 2 outs, 2 guys on. Try and make some noise here. Bateman, I just love his ability to shorten his swing with 2 strikes and use right field, which couldn't be more open right now with Elijah Ramos, the second baseman, holding Akawa at second.
And a weird occurrence. Bateman fouls off the pitch but let go of his bat. He goes flying to the backstop.
Get some more pine tar on that bat.
There's Bellinger tonight in the All-Star game. He went 2 for 2, driving in those 2 runs in the first inning. Having Yordan Alvarez and Shea Langeliers score. Well, you got the party started out in Philly in the first inning. And Spencer, I heard you say it was the first All-Star game shutout in 13 years.
Yeah, how about that stat? Honestly, 13 years feels like it's too short. An All-Star game where you have like the best players in the league playing each other. I mean, it's bound one guy runs into a home run, and I know these guys are human. The pitchers can run into a bad outing. Like Christopher Sanchez, worthy of getting the start.
Bateman takes the 2-2, goes full. Yeah, it's 15 strikeouts totaled up by the National League. The American League on the pitching side,
Sure.
But the National League hitters striking out 15 times at the plate tonight.
Wow.
Runners taking off on the payoff as it will be ball 4 for Bateman. That's 3 straight walks given up by Carlos Hernandez in this inning.
Really good at bat by Bateman. That was I don't want to be the last out of this inning at bat. That's going to warrant a visit and potentially a pitching change for Hernandez.
Yeah, it looks like Hernandez is going to get the hook, especially after walking 3 hitters now with the bases loaded and 2 outs. So, I don't know, like one swing could possibly turn this game around here, Spencer.
Absolutely,
Paul
Phillip.
Wagner do the hit.
Absolutely. And with it only being the 7th inning, a big hit here, even if you don't, tie it up, bring it all the way back, you still make a massive dent, put up a crooked number in this game, and you got 2 more chances to claw your way all the way back. So, again, you're just kind of building up the hope here.
Pitching change going to be made for the Crawdads. We'll keep it here on the Menlo Park Legends live stream network to talk a little bit more about the All-Star game, as with the shutout by the American League tonight. It was the first All-Star game shutout in 13 years. Last time it happened was 2013 at the 2013 All-Star game in New York at Citi Field. And man, you just look at the names of the guys who were involved. That Matt Harvey was the starting pitcher in that game, while Max Scherzer started for the American League. And Mariano Rivera, took home All-Star Game MVP. I think that was that. Like, if I recall, I think that was the same year he retired.
Yeah, that sounds right. Matt Harvey, that's a great name.
That's a name you haven't heard in a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, wow, 2013 you said?
Yeah, 2013. I remember the big highlight in that game was when Prince Fielder hit that triple and leg it out, and he was mic'd up, and he was like, "Whoa!" He was like caught by surprise, just turning on the Jets and legging out a triple in that one.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite parts about that game is it kind of brings out a little bit more of the players' personalities, right? You see them. We were talking about first base would be one of the more fun positions to play in the All-Star game, because every time someone reaches base, you're just 2 guys just playing ball and talking it up, talking about whatever it is, the season, personal lives, at bat, pitcher, the weekend. It's pretty fun. I'm sure. I can only imagine. I obviously don't have experience in that field. It would be cool too.
Well, Crawdads' new pitcher will be Miles Tinscher, submarine arm, trying to get out his bases loaded jam as he'll deliver strike 1 to Paul Wagner. So an 8-3 game with the Crawdads in front, but Paul Wagner could possibly turn this game around with 1 swing. Swung on a miss there for strike 2.
Yeah, this is a guy that the Legends saw here when I was calling the game. The last time they played at Baylands Park against the Crawdads, a lot of sliders with that arm slot. A lot of sliders just running away from righties.
Ran away outside there. Tinscher, righty from Yountville, California, currently playing at Cal. Or in his freshman year in 2025, made 11 relief appearances for the Golden Bears. A 1-2. This is high 2-2.
I'm not surprised Wagner took the first pitch here, too. The first 3 pitches from Tinscher out of the bullpen to warm up, 2 of them hit the backstop, and the other one rolled to the backstop. So it took him a bit to find his release point. Obviously, getting ahead in the count early was big for him.
Strike 3 called. Wagner didn't like it. Miles Tinscher comes in to do one job, and that was to strike out Wagner with the bases loaded. So we will go to the 8th with the scores now 8-3 after Mason Griffin led off the inning with the solo home run. We're going to see how the Crawdads will favor in the top of the 8th when we come back here in Palo Alto. on the top of the 8th. Crawdads back up to the plate.
Important inning here. The Legends were able to take a step forward and cut the lead within 1. Probably would have liked a little bit more of that last inning.
Ground ball to second. And it's going to be a nice play there for Findell.
But you can't give that run back here.
That's right. Mason Griffin hit the solo home run in the bottom half of the 7th after he flew out 3 times, two flyouts to left field, 1 to center field, but he was able to hit the home run to right field.
Yeah, and he didn't miss that pitch.
Pop up on the first pitch behind the plate. And Bateman can't find it in the air there.
Yeah, Bateman almost kind of checked where he was at while he was chasing that ball back to the backstop and taking his eye off the ball. It gets dark. You got to throw the mask out. You just got to get everything out of your way. Focus on catching that ball. But that is one of the more difficult plays to make.
Kevin Parker Jr., who's 1 for 3 tonight. Missed away by Bonin. Well, with the Crawdads, in line to go 4-0 on the season series against the Legends, they will be seeing them a few more times before the summer wraps up. Ground ball to short. Kelly throws on the run in time, 2 away. Yeah, but after a few games against the Stompers, the Blues, the Legends and the Crawdads will see each other again on July 19th, as well as also July 21st. And then also they'll actually close out the season together, or regular season, I should say, on July 26th in Danville. The Legends, get three more shots to try to take down the Crawdads. But with the way the Crawdads have been playing against them lately, or pretty much throughout the whole summer, it's swung in the direction of Walnut Creek.
Looks like we got a pinch hitter here, Phillip, for Cam Taylor.
Ground ball. Sliding stop by Kelly. The throw will be just late.
I'm not sure what I would have done if he made that play, Phillip, but at the very least, my jaw would be on the floor. I mean, I don't really know what to say about that play. I was so surprised he not only fielded that, but fielded that cleanly and then got a throw off. I for sure thought that was a hit up the middle. That was a magnet play by Ryder Kelly. Just smoothed as well.
Yeah, try to made a good effort for it, for sure. It's Elijah Ramos up to hit now. Another foul ball goes to 0-2.
Ramos does have an RBI single back in that offensive explosive third inning. He's 1 for 4, making his 5th appearance.
And ever since that third inning, the Crawdads have not scored a run.
They really haven't been a threat except for the 5th inning, where they got Pulasic and Carlisle.
Now strike 3 called, looking on Ramos as that will end the inning. So a hit but a runner left on Arwana Creek. Nothing doing in the 8th, as that is the 5th inning where they have gone scoreless. We will go to the bottom of the 8th. Still an 8-3 game. Still Miles Tincher on the mound for the Crawdads. Now in the bottom of the 8th, Isaac Findell will lead off. 1 for 2 of an RBI single. He'll take ball 1. Findell walked his last time up.
I'm not sure how that didn't hit him.
Yeah, a little bit funky there on the release. Of course, we know Tincher being a side armor.
Bendell's got the responsibility of the leadoff man. He's got to get some traffic on the base paths before they reach 2 outs. The Legends did lead them loaded, but it was after 2 outs, and they were all free passes via the walk. So you want to try and get a head start in this inning, because they have to make some sort of dent to give themselves a realistic shot at this thing in the 9th inning.
As 5 runs is doable, the score. Count out 3-1. And it's going to be a leadoff walk for Findell. Second free pass that he's been given tonight.
Not a base stealing situation at all, down 5 in the 8th inning, but this is a guy who's stolen a base tonight, and he stole 3 last night. But you do have to be smart here, especially with some pop and nobody out. A team that's running out of outs, you don't want to give up any free ones.
As Ethan Jackson comes up to the plate, there's some games that have gone either final or still going in the CCL. So, mentioned the Oaks beat the Riptide 7-4. Swing and a miss there by Jackson. And how about this? The Barons and the Saints down in Pasadena tied in the bottom of the 10th, 8-8. So an extra inning battle in the CCL tonight. The Foresters trying to shut down the Blues. That game in the top of the 9th, 5-4 to Santa Barbara leads. And the Stompers just stomping on the Seagulls, 12-4 in that game in the bottom of the 8th. Or as the Stompers coming into tonight as the 3rd place team in the CCL North, trying to hold that third spot, as that does give you a chance to play in the playoffs. Oh, and that throw is airmailed in the center field by Longacre, as that will allow Findell to advance to third.
Yeah, and a risky play, but it pays off. And Jackson, I would love for him to kind of change his swing up a bit in the sense of not opening up too much to Fincher's slider that starts inside, but almost every time it's going to end up off the plate, given his movement and arm slot. Love for him to think line drive right over Elijah Ramos's head.
I was in for strike two.
Jackson has not been a fan of this strike zone for either umpire.
Yeah, it seems like the strike zone is minimized as the game has gone on, but keep in mind we did have that umpire swap behind the plate. Swung on and missed as Jackson will go down for the third time tonight. Oh, not a good day for Ethan Jackson at the plate.
Yeah, those days will happen, right? You play long enough, you'll run into a day where you just feel like you're spinning at the plate. Whatever you're sitting on, whatever you're swinging at is just the wrong answer.
Mason Griffin, who hit the solo home run his last time up in the seventh, will get a chance. Goes after the first pitch, but catches nothing but the air there. And with that strikeout on Jackson, that's a total of 9 strikeouts at the plate for the Legends. You go down 9 times, doesn't really help with the run production, but they were also walked 9 times as well, so even in the base on balls and strikeout category.
Yeah, 3 runs, though, on 9 walks is...
Excuse me, make that 10 strikeouts now.
But regardless, 3 runs on 9 walks is... you have to be better at that offensively. Just shows their bats just haven't met expectations to what they've done in past games. What that entails, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so correction, it was doubled up to 10 strikeouts at the plate in total with 9 base on balls given to them. But like holistically, you think about just production. They have left 10 runners on base in the game. 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Allen goes way away to the backstop, as that will allow Findell to come in on the wild pitch.
Findell using his legs to score on the walk. Still yet to be a ball put in play in this inning, and the Legends have a run.
Oh yeah, they could. They want to get him wherever they can find him. That makes it now an 8-4 game, so the deficit having cut in half here. 2-2 count on Griffin. And runs in, goes full.
Really strong take there. That pitch, that slider was over the plate for almost the entire flight from Tincher's release point to the glove. But just the last second, it slides off.
And it'll take the 3-2. Ball 4, second walk for the Legends in this inning. Ryder Kelly come up for the 5th time tonight, 1 for 4. He hit the single all the way back in the first inning, but struck out looking in the second, and then flew out to left in the 5th, and grounded out in the 7th.
The approach for Kelly has to be right field here. Same thing I was saying about Jackson. With Ramos playing up the middle double play depth and Ronson at first base having to hold on Griffin, that right side of the infield couldn't be more open. Got to cut the plate in half, attack the outside corner.
Griffin takes off for second, and he is safe. The Legends trying to be aggressive here on the base pass. Get some stolen bases here, a couple of those.
That surprises me, given the situation. But the counter argument to that is, what are you good at? You're fourth in stolen bases in the CCL, so might as well play to your strengths, and it's worked out.
Count 2-0 on Kelly. And he'll look at ball 3.
Fincher has been difficult to hit, but he's had some challenges finding the plate as well.
Oh, there's an arm getting loose in the Crawdads bullpen. Fincher looks at second. And there will be a 4-pitch walk for Ryder Kelly. That's the third walk allowed by Fincher in this inning. Starting to get a little dangerous here for the Crawdads, as we'll see Brant Cummings walk out to the mound here with Ryan Duran due to hit with 1 out and 2 runners on. Duran trying to turn his night around. He's due. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout, and the only times that he has reached base was either on a walk or hit by pitch, but was taken off the base pass due to some base running miscues. As Miles Tincher is going to get the hook, the Crawdads will bring out a new arm. The Legends starting to make a little bit of noise here in the bottom of the 8th. We'll be back with the new arm coming into the game. Walnut Creek making another call to the pin on the night, as it's going to be Miles Brand coming in to pitch, as he is the 5th arm to hit the mound tonight for the Crawdads, as he is going to see Ryan Duran in a bit of a tough spot here. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Already a run scored in this inning for the Legends. It's now an 8-4 game in the bottom of the 8th inning. Duran trying to turn his night around and see if he could do it in a big way against the right-handed hurler who was a product of Modesto Junior College. Oh, he sends a shot to left field, and it's going to be over the head of the left fielder and go all the way to the wall. And it looks like it's going to score everybody. The throw to the plate will be late. Ryan Duran, that is how you turn around your night, sir. 2 RBI double to now making an 8-6 game.
Clearly, Brand had the idea, just kind of get over the plate fastball first pitch, get ahead in the count in a big situation. Ryan Duran was waiting for that. He was thinking heater inside, maybe up as well, because he got all 3 and punished Brand for that mistake. And we got a whole new feel to tonight.
And that was the biggest hit that Ryan Duran has had all game. It came at a good time for it. Michael Aikawa now to hit as he becomes the tying run. That pitch runs high and inside. Aikawa had to duck out of the way. Swings at the 1-0, but foul. Ryan Duran, who we know is a, prime gap hitter. He'll have a lot of extra base hits as he gets his 6th double on the season. Kawa, big swing at the shallow right, and coming in for it to make the catch. There's 2 gone.
Man, Ryan Duran is scaring me right now. He's taken off. Luckily, he retreated back to second base, but I mean, he's itching to score. You gotta love it. You gotta love it, I guess. You gotta love it. Big at bat for Ethan Mooser.
Yeah, but for Ryan Duran, he does match the team high in RBIs with those 2 runs coming across. Now has 19 on the summer, which matches with Oliver Hogan. Oh, Ethan Mooser, a chance to hit here. Brand fires in the first pitch strike with the fastball. Ethan Mooser trying to crack double digits in the RBI column. See if he can try to put one out here. The 0-1. Taken outside. Goes to 1-1.
Talked a lot about leaving guys on base tonight by the Legends. Obviously, the big swing from Duran kind of changes the vibe of this game, but still stranding him at second would still really hurt this club.
Chase the high fastball there for strike 2. Mooser trying to get something going here. And Brand gets him looking for strike 3. But the Legends able to make some noise in the bottom of the 8th as this game is now within 2 off of the big 2 RBI double from Ryan Duran. As we'll go to the 9th. Crawdads trying to add on some insurance here, but the Legends trying to stay in this one, as we'll be right back here in Palo Alto on the Miller Park Legends live stream network. Made to the ninth inning, folks, with the Legends making a bit of noise, putting up 3 runs in the bottom of the eighth. Now an 8-6 a game with the Crawdads kind of on the ropes here. Here's Sutter Moss to lead off. Colby Bonin still remains in the game, and I got to say, Spencer, he's definitely been getting his due here in this outing and trying to keep the Crawdads off balance.
I mean, he's done as good of a job as you can really draw up for him what the expectation was. I mean, it was really just kind of soften the blow, and then now it's become, give us one more chance, one more inning to build on what the Legends offense has put together.
Now it's popped up in the infield. See who it's going to be, as it will be Kelly. So retire Moss for the first out. Yeah, but the line so far for Colby Bonin, 5 2/3, all of them scoreless, 5 strikeouts, and only 2 walks given up.
Yeah, he's been brilliant out of the pen.
And has only allowed 3 hits as well.
And it can be tough to pitch in those situations where you feel like the game has no meaning, and you have to shift your focus to something else. Give something in the game purpose, and it can be a distraction for the hitters. It can be a distraction for the pitcher, but he came in and he did exactly what he was asked to do.
This is Joe Copeland pinch hitting in the spot of Barrett Ronson. And it's another pop-up, this time around home plate. Oh, and that one, it's fair ball. And there's in the tag, Copeland, and there's the second out. Oh, Nate Bateman not able to catch another pop fly, but luckily it landed close enough where Ethan Jackson just walked over to Joe Copeland to tag him while he never left the batter's box.
I don't know if he didn't see it or what, but that's just going to be a 3 putout on my score sheet.
Yeah, well, it's not a P3, so
right.
No catch was made.
I almost did that.
There's a line drive to left field, and that one's going to hit off the wall. Longacre will slide into second with a 2-out double.
It's a 3-hit night for Andrew Lawmaker. Reached base 4 of his 5 plate appearances as well. He's had a great night.
Well, Shane Aldridge back up to hit. So he came in to pinch it for Daniel Pulaski. But this is a big out for Colby Bonin to get. The Legends can't afford to let this lead go any further for Walnut Creek. One 0 from Bonin. And foul tip at the plate. Count at 1-1 on Aldridge.
Yeah, Bonin's been brilliant, but you need your best series of pitches here. This needs to be your best at bat that you attack here. He does have an open base to play with if push comes to shove in this at bat.
Aldridge has him in the driver's seat. Now it's 2-1. Missed again. This time ball 3. So hitters count in favor for Aldridge.
I'd be surprised if Aldridge gets anything on a tee here. Anything pretty to hit. Bonin's got to be careful.
And Carlisle waiting on deck. Bonin can't hit the spot there, so it's a 2-out walk. Whereas now at first and second.
Not seeing too much movement in the bullpen right now on the Legends' first base side, so I think this is Bonin's inning. I think they made the decision that he was going to finish this game.
let's keep in mind here, Spencer. It ain't over yet.
Absolutely.
Still a possibility of us going extras.
There could be some more. At least we'll finish the regulated 9 innings. A massive first pitch strike to get ahead of this count after a walk, too.
Carlisle on the ground to the right side, picked up by Jackson. Toss over to first as Bonin will cover the bag to in the top of the ninth. Here we go, folks. Bottom of the ninth. The Legends are going to need 2 to tie and 3 to win as due up for Menlo Park. It will be Bateman, Wagner, and Findell when we come back. Last chance for the Legends as we're now in the bottom of the ninth. 8-6. The Legends need 2 to tie, 3 to win as Nate Bateman will lead off against Miles Brand, who remained in the game.
You're searching for 2 if you're in green. Searching for 2.
Joe Copeland now playing first for the Crawdads. Strike 1 in the Bateman.
Even if 2 seems like a lot, in a game that's 8-6, that's not too tall of a task. All it takes is a bloop and a blast, is what they say.
Brand in the driver's seat here. The 1-2 pitch. This is high and goes to the backstop. For the Crawdads, if the score were to hold, it would be their 4th win in the season series against Menlo Park. But for the Legends, they're trying to go for their 1st win in the season series against the Crawdads and extend their win streak to 4. Swung on and missed. Actually foul tipped for strike 3. There's 1 away. Now,
So big first out for the Crawdads in a close game like this. You need to avoid getting that tying run to the plate with nobody out. And he does that there by getting ahead of the count of Bateman and then putting him away.
there's Paul Wagner. Look at that one high and out. Inside, but in for strike 1. Wagner trying to turn his night around, 0 for 3. Ooh, Brand doesn't get the call there.
Yeah, if Brand is attacking the strike zone in the corners of the plate, the Legends are going to have to do something they haven't done yet tonight, which is start a rally through some hits.
Miss low for a ball. Two one here to Wagner. Swung on and missed. Strike two.
That's a healthy rip, though. I really like that rip. You're heading the count. He challenged you. You gotta let the bat fly.
I see it's a 3-2 count as Wagner will get the walk. Now that is exactly what the Legends needed. Isaac Findell going to be up to hit here. Not too many weapons that Nick Sanzeri can go to off the bench. This is really where the table setters have to clutch up here. Crawdads are in double play position in the infield.
No, Fendell's a guy that can spray the ball over the field, which is what you need here. A bat-to-ball guy, get the tying run on base, and really start to let the Crawdads feel that this game's starting to slip away from them. But still work to be done.
On Fendell, a line drive to center field, but it's going to stay up. There's two gone. Oh, the last hope will now be Ethan Jackson. Ethan Jackson, 3 home runs on the summer. And a big spot here. He did homer a game a couple of days ago against the Seagulls in that 9-5 win on the road. And the Legends were able to take care of the Seagulls in that 3-game series. They head 1-0. Ground ball over to third. Picked up and thrown across by Carlisle, and that will be the ball game. The Legends fall short once again against the Crawdads as Walnut Creek snaps their 3-game winning streak for the Crawdads. They get their 20th win on the 2026 summer season, and it was done with that big inning that they had in the third, where they put up 6 runs after opening up the ball game with 2 in the first. The Legends, had 2 in the second to tie, but weren't able to score until the 7th inning, and were able to put across 3 in the bottom of the 8th in an effort for a comeback, but just falls short in their last at bat.
Yeah, it was too much to overcome after that third inning. Just too long of an inning, and the guys kind of seemed a little slow to get going. Obviously, Bonin kept him in the game with his shutout in relief in the second half of the game, completely taking the Crawdads' chances of extending the lead and really ending this game in like the fourth and early mid stage of the game. But so credit to Bonin for allowing the offense to claw their way back into this game. But they just didn't have it tonight, and that's just kind of how the game works sometimes.
And with the loss, the Legends go 0-4 against Walnut Creek on the season series. But for Brent Cummings' squad, who continues to stay, dominant across the CCL North, he had to go through 5 arms just to get this win. It was a bit of a up and down game for the Crawdads pitching staff tonight. They strike out 12 hitters, but walked 12 at the same rate. But the Legends, it's just all about not capitalizing when it counts. You look at the final line for them: 3 for 17 with runners on, 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Weren't able to get the hits that they needed to at least try to even up.
And that was their Achilles heel tonight as well, outside of that third inning. And when we've seen this team win ball games, and play a lot cleaner games, right? This one obviously a 2-run game. So from the outside looking in, it was a little bit of a tougher battle. But when we've seen them play cleaner games, it's because their pitching is executing and their offense is coming through with runners in scoring position. And, double-digit walks, that's a lot of opportunities that they just weren't able to capitalize on. And early in the game, that's exactly what the Crawdads were doing, was they were capitalizing on errors, on walks, and on just teammates getting hits in front of them. And so that ended up being the real difference in tonight.
Yeah, and just think about the guys that produced well. Andrew Longacre had a nice night at the plate, 3 for 4 for Walnut Creek. Had that double that was kind of like a consolation double. Then Vlasic, Cam Taylor, they were able to provide the run output. But overall, the Crawdads up and down the lineup, it was just a team effort and producing those runs. But granted, the Legends pitching kind of held the game where they wanted it to be held and trying to slow down the Crawdads offense after that 6-run third inning that they put up. But give a lot of credit to Colby Bonin going 6 in the third, all like scoreless, showing doing what he was supposed to do in relief after the rough start by both Tyler Toribio and Adam Morris. But it's just like you said, Spencer, it's just one of those games where you hope that everything could go right, but some things just didn't go right.
Yeah, sometimes you got to run into some luck, and it just didn't happen for them. A couple hard hit outs that didn't go their way, and they had some luck of the draw too. We had the double play from Morris that we thought was going to be the sign of him kind of ending the inning, but obviously just wasn't his night. We've seen him have much better nights, which again happens. But I think you tip your cap to the Crawdads bullpen as well. We talk about Bonin, who came in and shut the door offensively. That puts a lot of pressure on the bullpen now, because now the run support you got is what you're going to get. And I think Zirkle did a great job with 2 shutout innings, just commanding and dominating the strike zone with 4 Ks. And then how about Miles Brand to close out the game? Ran into some hot water, immediately gives up the double to Duran, doesn't panic, still has a 2-run lead with just 4 outs to go, and he gets the next 4 outs, the next 4 guys down, just slowing the 1 walk, but again, not panicking, attacking the strike zone. So hats off to the Crawdads offense for getting the early lead, and the bullpen for keeping a lid on it.
Well, with all the games across California and the CCL wrapping up for the night, the Crawdads go now to 20-8, still sitting slightly comfortably in second place, but they're trying to pull away from the Stomperoos, who were able to get their 9th consecutive win tonight, at 19-13. So about, I could say a game and a half out of second. But, the hill just kind of gets a little bit more steeper for all the teams. But for the Legends, they're going to take a break from league play, as we will be coming back tomorrow for a matchup against the South Bay Storm and a non-league matchup. We'll have the coverage for that here on the Menlo Park Legends live stream network at 6 p.m. But when the Legends do return to CCL play, it will be on Friday when they see the San Luis Obispo Blues, who are right now the team that is currently holding a stronghold, not just in the CCL North, but in the California Collegiate League entirely, with the league high 25 wins.
Yeah, and we've seen them here. They are a team top to bottom that's just a scary lineup and know how to win ball games. Obviously, a little bit of a slide, 5-5 in their last 10, but still, I mean, that just shows how strong they are. They're 5-5 in their last 10, and they're still 15 games over 500, and that goes right over to Santa Barbara Foresters, who won 20 games before earning their 6th loss, 22-5 on the year. So it's going to be fun to watch these teams compete in the playoffs and just see the best of the best go at it in a league that we've talked about with the draft and the history of these clubs. It runs really deep.
Yeah, that's for sure. As the final line for tonight, with the Crawdads coming out on top with the W. 8 runs, 12 hits, no errors for Walnut Creek, and for Menlo Park, the Legends putting up 6 runs on 6 hits and 3 errors, falling short again against the Crawdads for the 4th time this summer. But that's going to wrap things up for us here in Palo Alto. I want to thank everybody for tuning into tonight's coverage of Menlo Park Legends baseball here on the Menlo Park Legends live stream network. We'll be back tomorrow for some non-league action, as the Legends will welcome the South Bay Storm here at Baylands Park. Alongside my partner, Spencer Tracy, this is Philip Hall on the call saying so long and good night from Palo Alto.